All right. Okay. Yeah, I know. I know. I leave and stuff happens. I get it. I know. You'd think I'd know by now. I've just had a persistent headache, so I thought I'd take a few days off. I do my yoga, whatever. It was working. Was just watching anime with my beautiful partner. What do I see on my phone? A blip from my own mother. Hey, you might want to stream soon. Guess what just happened? Okay. Thanks, Mom. I mean, really, thank you. Otherwise, I might not have noticed for a bit. Isn't this seriously illegal? Congress didn't declare war. This guy thinks Congress is needed to do to do war. My God, what year are you living in, buddy? Okay. Quick, consume some food real quick. Okay. All right. What do we got? Trump just spoke to Sean Hannity. He spoke to Sean Hannity a little bit ago, like a few minutes ago. Does anyone have those clips? Sean Hannity, he bragged. He said we used 6 bunker buster bombs. Apparently, this is video of it. Yeah, Trump addresses the world in 42 minutes. He talked to Sean Hannity before the world. Just, does anyone have clips of that? These are probably from the Syrian civil war. Probably not. That's not Arabic. Yeah, that's pretty big. That's Syria? Yeah, sure, why not? So did he nuke Iran? No, on Hannity, he claimed that he used 6 bunker buster bombs. Yeah, these videos are fake. But he did say that on Hannity. Bunker buster bombs don't look like this. They blow up in the ground. Here? 9 minutes ago.
All right, we want to head to Israel on the ground. I just want to reiterate this is a huge moment in that President Donald Trump has authorized and the U.S. military has just pulled off strikes inside Iran at 3 different nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. The word coming from President Trump's Truth Social that the bombers were outside of Iranian airspace, that the payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. As you look at the map there, I want to go live on the ground to Trey Yingst, chief foreign correspondent. About
one news source is saying it's illegal. Nice. Oh, you're probably not even going to see that from like MSNBC or whatever. Remember, Chuck Schumer made a video address where he essentially said, "Come on, Trump, you pussy, go to war with Iran. Come on, Trump. What are you, some kind of Islamophile?" Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much media pushback on this.
Reaction there on the ground, what the Israelis are saying, plus what you think this fallout may be.
Yeah, Brett, good evening. This has been the talk of Israel for the past several days as the country waited to see if the Americans would get directly involved in the conflict. And even up in the last few hours,
I can't help but notice this is not, in fact, Trump telling Hannity that he used 6 bunker buster bombs. This is, in fact, just a regular Fox News segment. Does anyone have that segment? Here's Handy reacting.
Tonight, Iran's nuclear ambitions, they are officially dead. It appears the United States just completely obliterated Iran's top secret Fordo nuclear facility with 6 huge bunker buster bombs. It was originally speculated that you would only need 2. It turns out they used 5 to 6 dropped from America's stealth B-2 bombers. And that's not all. 2 other major Iranian nuclear sites, Natanz and Esfahan, were wiped out with
Esfahan, the streamer,
30 Tomahawk missiles launched by American submarines some 400 miles away. Everyone is out of harm's way for now.
That's good to know. Great. According to AP News, Trump told Hannity this personally, if I saw correctly. So, you know, take from that what you will. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. That's true. We're the only ones of those bombs. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. Now is the time for peace. Buddy, this isn't the time for peace. We have a forever war to get on with, okay? Time for peace. Come on. Come on. Get in, loser. We're dying for Israel. That's true. That's true.
Hours. I was talking with current and former sources, trying to get an understanding of when this might happen. And at 1:55 local time, one source said rumors, Trump gave the word, supposed to be happening now. We were working on tracking it down, and the president taking to Truth Social to say the Americans did indeed strike 3 separate Iranian nuclear facilities, including the Fordow nuclear facility deep underground.
Fetterman was congratulating him on Twitter. Yeah, of course. Fetterman is like a psychotic Zionist, you know? Mossad is like videos of him fucking a kid. There's no other explanation. He's like he has no other beliefs, basically.
Outside of the Iranian capital of Tehran. The bottom line here is that people are talking about enrichment. They understand that this decision was made because the Iranians were increasing their uranium enrichment capabilities and increasing the purity closer and closer to weapons-grade material. And the concern was that the Iranian regime was just weeks away from being able to build a nuclear bomb.
Ridiculous. Absolutely, like a ridiculous. They've been weeks away for decades, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Were they pursuing a nuclear weapon? Yeah, they have been for a long time. Were they weeks away? Like specifically like this week right here? Like not the previous week, then they would have been months away. But this time they were weeks away? No.
Seen over the past 9 days, the country has the ability to strike major population centers here in Israel with ballistic missiles. So you can imagine that having a nuclear warhead that could ultimately be attached to a ballistic missile would clearly be a direct threat to the Jewish state. And that would,
I mean, I sure hope Israel doesn't have any nuclear warheads that could fire even further. Would be a shame if Israel had like an official nuclear doctrine that essentially applied they were going to take the world down with them and had like intercontinental ballistic missiles to deliver them.
Was why the Israelis said that they made the decision to start these strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities and against top IRGC officials. And clearly tonight, President Trump ordering these strikes against the Iranian regime's nuclear program because there was no off-ramp for diplomacy at this point. There was that 60-day window that President Trump gave the Iranians to come to the table. 5 rounds of conversations, most of them taking place in Oman.
Do you think this will escalate? What sort of scale are we talking about here? It's really difficult to say because Iran, along with Hezbollah, are known for being the masters of, well, you look at the time, it's time for nothing. There is nothing the Iranian military likes to do more than say, this time you've done it. A reckoning the likes of which you had never experienced before is coming. And then, like, the next week, they fire 3 bottle rockets at a U.S. military base. And then they just hope everyone leaves them alone after. So, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
With Steve Witkoff, President Trump's Middle East envoy, other top American officials meeting directly and indirectly with their Iranian counterparts, but the Iranians did not want to finish a deal. And ultimately, the decision was made by Israel to launch this operation that has led to a war developing between the two countries. And then again, tonight, the Americans getting directly involved, launching these strikes with those bombers over Iranian territory. We will certainly learn more information as daylight comes tomorrow in the region. But the bottom line here is that a decision was made that will change the reality of the current war between Israel and Iran. And
we'll see if it leads to any real difference. Hold on, is this a test run of the bunker bumper? Bunker bumper, Jesus Christ. I woke up at noon today, just to let you guys know where I'm at. Bunker buster bomb they used. Shoom. That's crazy, that shit just went right in. Yeah, shoom. Fetterman loves this shit. Nice, nice. Bernie spoke about it live at a rally. Are we all actually dying this time? I'm begging you guys, okay? Nobody likes to World War III post like white people who know they're going to make the rent this month but are still like kind of pissed about it, okay? Please stop, all right? No, you're not getting involved. You realize that when something happens in the Middle East and people overhear World War III posts, what you're doing is saying like, well, we should make it about me. I'm scared. Like, what about them, man? Like, yeah, Iranians are in danger. We just bombed Iran, and you guys are like, dude, World War III. Well, no, it's your fucking government, and you're safe. You live in America.
All right, let me conclude.
Oh, sir, we've started a third Gulf War. A third Gulf War has hit the USMIC.
This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote,
Desync.
We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in
Living in America doesn't mean you aren't safe from a dirty bomb detonator. Stop reading Tom Clancy. Iran is not going to detonate a dirty bomb. Look, come on. That shit ain't happening, okay?
Etc.
Iranian state TV saying all U.S. citizens are targets. They say that all the time. Dude, God forbid you disagree with the white bitch, then all of a sudden she's non-binary, PTSD, ASD, fucking ADHD. You know what I mean? Got trauma or something. Like, come on. God forbid America declare war on non-Americans or every American suddenly the fucking greatest risk in the world. Live in goddamn St. Louis and you people are acting like you're in Fallujah or whatever. Jesus Christ. This is like a particularly bad, like politically, to get involved. Nobody wanted Trump to do this, including Republicans, by the way, to get directly involved. Like nobody, the Iraq war is just too recent. Everyone remembers like how shit and pointless it was. You know, no one likes Israel. No one wants to get involved in a war with Iran. You know, no one wants this shit. George W. Trump over here is not going to succeed. Like he might be able to pull some people over, but this is definitely a wedge between this Palantir and him wanting to sell off like a third of the federal land in the West. It's not, yeah, it's not politically viable. Wasn't the war in Iraq not authorized by Congress? The Congress is irrelevant meaningfully when it comes to declaring war. It's just not necessary. Though in the Iraq War's case, I believe they did. Yeah. Because that was after 9/11. We were a bit more fired up back then.
Possibly create a scenario where the Iranians really have no other option than to give in. Because the president has hit them so hard with these strikes, and the Israelis are continuing to take out their top military leadership, that the country is in a state of disarray. And so the bottom line
that was right. Yeah, that was right. We never officially declared war, but the use of boots on the ground was approved by Congress.
Is that these strikes tonight show not only solidarity with the American ally in the Middle East, Israel, but also they show that the region is at a crossroads here. There are clear decisions that will have to be made by the regime officials that are still alive and by the country's supreme leader and the country's president, Masoud Pezeshkian. And so certainly more hours ahead, we'll learn that information. But again, the bottom line tonight is that the decision was made by President Trump to take out, in effect, these nuclear facilities that the Iranians were using to enrich uranium closer and closer to weapons-grade material. You might remember back during the nuclear deal that President Trump pulled out of.
Yeah. Manufacturing consent. I'm unironically asking, of course, is there no chance a 9/11 will happen here again then? What? Because Iran's Muslim? You think they're gonna... Not even the right type of Muslim to do a 9/11, okay? That's a Sunni thing. Only Sunnis possess the unique physiognomy required to plot a 9/11, okay? What are you talking about? You sound insane right now. It's not about you. Listen, a 9/11 happens once a year is the thing you have to understand, okay? But in Iran, 9/11 happens, you know, 2 to 3 times a year. Maybe. I haven't done the math.
Do we have Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon? Can we get her up and we can talk through what we're hearing from military sources? Jennifer Griffin.
The biggest threat right now is sleeper cells. Who is inside the country with malicious intent and what are they planning right now? That's you guys. That's a VGG chatter. 9/11 wasn't Muslims? Yeah, it was. Osama bin Laden's Muslim. I mean, he's like the kind of Muslim that has like hentai on his computer, but I think that's most of the... Listen, okay, it's like how all of the alt-right mass shooters in America have like BBC cuck porn on their computers, okay? The contradiction is part of the ideology. You wouldn't get it.
Griffin is live at the Pentagon.
Peter Griffin?
Let's bring Jennifer in. Jennifer, we're just getting word, obviously, with the president's announcement, what this looks like.
Well, Brett, we knew that there was something afoot this morning when we woke and heard that there were 6 B-2 bombers that had been seen leaving Whiteman Air Force Base last night at midnight. And so those planes, we were told, were heading towards Guam. Now, Guam would have been an 18-hour flight into Iran, so it is likely that it was a different set of B-2 bombers that were used to bomb the sites, the 3 sites that the president mentioned tonight on Truth Social. That is the Fordo complex, which we've been watching all week. That is the massive main sort of what's known as the...
Watch the handy clip. Is this, does he describe explicitly? Okay, this is a minute long rather than 30 seconds.
Fox News alert. I just spoke to the president of...
There we go. Okay, this one includes, by the way, absolutely fucking insane that Trump said he'll address the nation at 9 p.m. PT. Or sorry, 10 p.m. PT, but then talk to Sean Hannity beforehand to like brag about the weapons that he used. Absolutely insane.
Of the United States. I have some new information and breaking details to share about tonight's what is historic air campaign. Now, tonight, Iran's nuclear ambitions, they are officially dead. It appears the United States just completely obliterated Iran's top secret Fordo nuclear facility with 6 huge bunker buster bombs. It was originally speculated that you would only need 2. It turns out they used 5 to 6, dropped from America's stealth B-2 bombers. And that's not all. 2 other major Iranian nuclear sites, Natanz and Esfahan, were wiped out with 30 Tomahawk missiles launched by American submarines some 400 miles away. Everyone is out of harm's way for now. That does not mean...
Okay, let's put on our thinking caps here, okay? Israel wants us to get involved because we legitimize the war. However, Israel wants a forever war, and so do lots of Americans, right? Like another conflict so we can siphon trillions of dollars into the MIC. So this can't be the final decisive blow to this conflict, you know? Because what would the point be of that? Like, obviously, Trump right now is saying, well, now that we've done the bombing, let's call for peace. But that's not the point. The point isn't to call for peace, obviously. The point wasn't to eliminate their nuclear production. There will always be nuclear production, at least in, you know, in an optical sense. And there's always going to be a need for further conflict, because otherwise, what would the point be of this? It's not like they were actually concerned about wiping out the nuclear. There's nothing Israel wants less than to make itself unnecessary in the Middle East. Which is why they were getting so scared when Trump was leaning more towards diplomacy with Iran, right? That's the reason why Israel and the MIC pushed for Trump to begin a bombing campaign or continue a bombing campaign when he was nearing the end of his talks with Iran, right? We were going the diplomatic route, and then somebody thought, you know, some Poindexter, some genius was like, hold on, Trump might actually do a diplomacy. We can't let that happen. So they had to sit down with him at Camp David. He talked to Netanyahu as he left Camp David. That's public info. And afterwards, all of a sudden, total change of tone. Yeah, I don't think Iran wants a deal. I don't think we're going to do a deal. They're playing a very dangerous game right now. And then what happens like a week afterwards? We join in the fun. We give them a bomb. Well, 5 to 6 bombs. Plus the Tomahawks. Shortest 2 weeks ever? Yeah. Here's a Twitter thread on why it's unlikely that the bomb won't penetrate Fordow. I don't like getting my military logistics analysis from Twitter threads, personally. I don't really know. It doesn't really matter. Whether or not they destroyed Fordow is irrelevant because the point of this is to legitimize a forever war. So whether or not maybe they annihilated the enrichment facilities, maybe they didn't. Like, it doesn't actually matter, right? No matter what happened, Iran wasn't going to nuke America. I'm not really invested in this, you know? It's just the casus belli, as you people like to say, for us, you know, maintaining involvement. Nothing even happened at the site. It was barely touched at all. That's great. Also, source Twitter. Iran's in an awkward position here where they look weak if they don't attack any American bases in Iraq and Gulf states. Oh, they probably will. But Iran only has so many missiles, you know? So limit to how much they can meaningfully retaliate. So just to reiterate, this is like super bad, right? I mean, it's bad for Iran. It's terrible for Iran. If you mean bad for like the United States of America, that is, you know, that kind of remains to be seen. How much we're going to commit to it, how far we're going to go with it. If you're Iranian, this is pretty terrible. Very, very bad for Iran. But yeah, you're right. It depends on how it spirals out of control. Man, this is so embarrassing for my country. I wish a more respectable seeming president did an operation like this. I would prefer no president do an operation like that, personally, in my humble opinion. Well, just trying to keep my hair out of my face. My hair's being annoying today. My partner's really worried about Iran bombing us back. Thoughts? In the United States, Iran doesn't even have missiles that reach that far. You have any idea how expensive ICBMs are? You have any idea? Iran is still flying planes that we gave them like 50 years ago under the Shah. They've been holding those together with like reverse engineered self-made parts. They don't have ICBMs. And even if they did, we would deserve it, to be clear. Just to cover my end on both on both sides of that response, okay? Oh. Good luck, Heather. I'm really sorry to hear that. Just to be the devil's advocate, wouldn't it be morally justified to destroy a country's nukes before they're fully finished? No? Why? That's, I don't know, man. It's kind of complicated. It depends. Like, in Iran's case, it seems like they are legitimately constantly threatened with annihilation by foreign powers with nukes. So I don't know. It seems like in their case, I don't know, man. It doesn't take a brain genius to figure out who the aggressor is here, okay? Israel's out there bombing every fucking country within its 300-mile radius. We're the only reason they're not doing it to Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Iran's case is the most justified IMO. The regime shucks though. Yeah. The regime definitely sucks. There's no getting around that. But at the same time, like, what are you going to do if you're Iran? Like, just sit there and be bullied forever? Like, literally forever? I'll tell you, I trust Iran with nukes more than Israel. Easily, I trust Iran more with nukes than Israel. Iranian 9/11 is going to go crazy. Okay, really quickly, because I know you guys don't necessarily mean it. Stop being racist. 9/11 was a terror plot done by a non-state entity. Iran is a country. The only reason you're bringing up 9/11 is because they're Muslim. But there's like a billion Muslims. There's more than a billion Muslims. The only tie here is the fact that they're Muslim, and it's not even the same type of Muslim. Like, again, Iran's a state. They fund acts of terrorism, but the 9/11 thing was like, there's no connection, but you know, I can only assume it's a race thing. That's what you're bringing up. Or, you know, religion. Anyway, get this woke scolding for me out of the fucking VOD. I have to send this off. One second. Let me give my editor something to chew on. It's been a little while. Something similar, and there will be another after 10 p.m. ET because he's gonna go live. Okay. I don't think it's racist to suggest that the country whose government espouses death to America might commit an act of terrorism against America. Lamau. The 9/11 thing is a Muslim thing. Don't act in bad faith. You know it's a Muslim thing. Also, they've been saying death to America for like a million years. By the way, kind of based. You know why Iran's like that, right? Like, come on. Dude, they have a right to fucking hate us, okay? It's not like it's not like a pure fucking like showboat, you know, like they're just passing the buck down the road or anything. Democrat members of the Intel Committee were not briefed, but the Republicans were. Has no one told Trump that Democrats also want us to bomb Iran? Have you considered that it's okay for me to be racist because I'm on the left? Can't believe I didn't think of that. These people remind me of the white women you post about on Twitter. Or like how to avoid gangs of Hispanic traffickers, Lamau. Yeah, like the women who live in Minnesota who are like, if you see a napkin that's blown underneath your car, that means like a sex trafficker is gonna kidnap you in this Costco parking lot if you like bend down to pick it up. Like that you got to run the fuck away as fast as you can. What hat is that? Can I not? My hair is pissing me off today. Can I not just have the hat on? Is that fine? Is that okay with you guys? Or are you gonna autism shame me? Are you gonna be like, no, he can't stim. He can't hat stim. Also, I like the hat. It's the thinking cap, exactly. It contains my head, so that like all the you know the demon core, right? You contain the reactive core in like a reflective surface, so all of the like alpha particles bounce off and go back and continue the chain reaction. That's what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm putting the temperature up here, okay? Flash of blue light whenever I put the cap on. Hakeem Jeffries' response? That's great. Let me guess. If only you'd let us in? Donald Trump promised to bring peace to the Middle East. He's failed to deliver on that promise. The risk of war is now dramatically increased. I pray for the safety of our troops in the region. Trump misled the country about his intentions, failed to seek congressional authorization for the use of military force, and risks American entanglement in potentially disastrous war. First, the Trump admin bears the heavy burden of explaining to the American people why this military action was undertaken. Second, Congress must be fully and immediately briefed in a classified setting. Third, Donald Trump shoulders complete total responsibility for any adverse. All right, so a third of it is him whining that he wasn't, like, cut in on it. Gotcha. Trump calls his intel community wrong. Yeah, I've seen this.
US President Donald Trump says his spy chief was wrong in suggesting there was no evidence Iran is building a nuclear weapon. In March this year, the US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified to Congress that America's intelligence continued to believe that Tehran was not building a nuclear weapon.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. We continue to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Speaking to reporters in New Jersey, President Trump contested Ms. Gabbard's claims.
The material that they've gathered already, it's a tremendous amount of material, and I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Incredible stuff. Sorry, I had a bad aftertaste in my mouth. Wanted to have some mints. Incredible stuff. Yeah, it's I mean it's shockingly like hypocritical, and in a normal era with normal politics, this would be like an insane scandal on its own. But essentially, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard has said correctly there's no evidence from American intelligence that they are pursuing a nuclear weapon. And then Trump got the call from Netanyahu and the MIC, and they were like, listen, buddy, we're going to do this, so you better, like, play ball. And Trump was like, yes, sir. Anything you want, sir. Want me to eat your ass, sir? Want me to shine your shoes, sir? And then he was asked this, and he was like, no, actually, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of American Intelligence, is wrong. Yeah, sorry, the combined information, the intelligence network of the CIA and the NSA, and God only knows what our satellites are up to, all of that is wrong, okay? But my, like, unnamed source, I really wish the reporters would ask, where'd you get this intel from? If not American intel, where'd you get this intel from? Because if you could get Trump on TV to say, I'm not listening to my intelligence, okay, Netanyahu told me they have it, that would be really funny. It probably wasn't Netanyahu, though. It was probably some, like, deep state ghoul, or maybe, like, a liaison between Trump and the deep state ghouls, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't talk to Trump directly because Trump's an idiot. They would talk to, like, Miller or something, or and they would, like, funnel, you know what I mean? I hope Tulsi gets him back for disrespect to the department. Why would... Oh, sorry. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? We have the Netanyahu statement.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision...
Addressed directly to Trump, because the best way to get him to do what you want him to do is just to tell him he's a good boy.
To target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today...
It's so embarrassing, dude. Again, I'm sure you know this, or at least a lot of you know this, or maybe you're too young to know. It's actually really, really weird for an address congratulating a leader on a military strike to be addressed directly to that leader. Like, in a normal society, between normal countries, this would be like the state of Israel thanks the United States for their assistance on this matter. That would be, that, like, for basically, like, all of modern history. That's more or less how this would go. Even in fascist regimes, that's how this would go. You know what I mean? Like, even with, like fascists obsess over the power of the state. So, like, even people like Mussolini or Hitler would talk, you know, as though the state of Germany, the fatherland, you know, they're like they're people. This weird, like, thank you, Trump shit is, like, so trying to get written into the will.
Today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
He didn't even mention the American troops. Just like this, this would be considered like a grave insult in the before times. It's a kind of like, what was the term just used in chat? Gangsterism. That is just normally not used at this level. This like very obvious, underhanded, wheel and deal, like I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We're just a bunch of like kingmakers playing on a chessboard kind of deal. Like you're supposed to pretend. I guess I appreciate the honesty. Do you think this will shake MAGA? I think it has the potential to, at least with some people. But Trump's popularity has been declining rapidly for some time now. Like he's pretty under the water on a lot of issues. So it's death by 1,000 cuts. Not really, Fox already on it. Yeah, but most Republicans aren't getting their news from Fox, right? Especially young ones. Like young ones are going to get their news from Joe Rogan or whatever the fuck. And like, I don't know. I just don't imagine the average Joe Rogan viewer being that inclined to like, dude, did you hear we got involved in another war in the Middle East? Yes! Like, I just don't think... I mean, it will work for a lot of them, but if even 1% of Trump's supporters get disillusioned by this, that's a lot of people. It's over 1 million people. Well, a little less than 1 million people. Mike Johnson. Yeah, Mike Johnson was praising this. House GOP leaders praised Trump's strike on Iran as America First policy in action. Fantastic. Oh, you love to see it. It's all such a fucking joke to these people. Thomas Massey said it was unconstitutional. Yeah. He likes to say shit like that. I'm not... How do you relate this news of U.S. bombing Iran on the Tucker Cruz interview? Well, it's kind of prescient, isn't it? Cruz is a Nazi, or at least pretends to be one, and is popular with Nazis and very far-right people, and they just don't want to go to war with Iran. Largely because they're anti-Semitic, but also to an extent because they're very weary of what they see as like institutionalized deep state politics, which is always very keen on going to war in the Middle East, you know? You mean Tucker? I said Cruz? Tucker, just look, replace whatever words I said with the ones that make sense and roll with that, okay? How did I get 12 hours of sleep last night and still wake up feeling exhausted, okay? I don't want to deal with you people. I didn't mean to stream today, okay? I got the text. The text said you should stream, and I streamed, okay? Same reason I came up here on fucking Jan 6. Almost impossible to imagine Iran's supreme leader won't respond. That's great. Let's take a look at CNN. We've got 5 minutes till Trump addresses the nation. Let's have that up so I don't miss any. Oh, yep. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good stuff. All right, I'll mute it. In the meantime, let's take a look at CNN, my favorite consent manufacturing site.
I want to put the statement by President Trump up on the screen. He says in a Truth Social post, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of been waiting for reports that perhaps the damage was worse than it actually was. The electrical supply to the centrifuges at the Natanz facility were cut. With that electrical supply was cut. I spoke to the head of the IAEA who said he believed that would have caused some of the centrifuges.
The United States has used a lesser bomb known as the mother of all bombs, which is in Afghanistan. That bomb is actually not the mother of all bombs if you consider the GBU-57, because it is smaller than this 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb, which would, every expert has said, would be the bomb that you would use for the Fordo facility. At this stage,
did you guys see that New York Times editorial that was like manufacturing consent by saying that the bunker buster bomb that only we possess and can use was like the square peg to the square shaped hole in Iran, you know? It was like only an American B-2 with an American bunker buster bomb could possibly strike this facility, just letting you know.
Don't know that they have actually used that. We don't have confirmation from the military, but presumably that would indeed be the weapon of choice for this facility.
The thing about those bombs is that they can penetrate deep through concrete, deep through fortifications. The question is, would you need to hit with multiple of those bombs in the exact same spot to really get to the depths that we're talking about? I mean, there's estimates of how deep the Fordo facility goes, and I've seen a variety of them, but it's extensive. I mean, it is very deep in this mountain.
Without a doubt. And you not only have the mountainous...
It really wouldn't surprise me if they built that facility like way the fuck underground, you know? Like 200 feet. I don't think Iran would build that facility at a depth that a single bunker buster could take it out. Like, at the very least, you would need to, like, stack a few shots on top.
Structure, you know, the natural fortification that is provided in this facility, but there's also been some analysis that there is likely some reinforced concrete as well. So you have the mountain itself, but then you may also have reinforced fortifications for this facility itself, and that's why most experts have said it would likely take multiple runs of these GBU-57s, known as these 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs, to be dropped over this facility. I do think that it is interesting that we are also talking about U.S. strikes, according to the president, on these two other nuclear facilities as well. And that, you know, all the attention has been focused on this Fordo facility, which is where the United States was needed in order to destroy that facility. But the fact that President Trump authorized strikes on these two other nuclear facilities as well indicates that he really wanted to make sure that this job was done. And this is an attempt by the United States, by President Trump, to truly eliminate the entire Iranian nuclear program, and that just cannot be understated.
Particularly the site of Isfahan. My understanding is that there were large reservoirs of nuclear fuel there, and that during the initial attack a week ago, that site had not been struck, and there had been some thought that perhaps that was intentional to kind of give options to the Iranians.
That's right.
Kind of a window to have a diplomatic effort.
I mean, we haven't even talked yet about the enormous head fake here from President Trump. I mean, you know, in just the last few days, President Trump talked about giving the Iranians 2 weeks. Right? 2 weeks for diplomacy to run its course.
He always said within 2 weeks.
How much have we watched so far without a single mention of, like, this is illegal, this is insane? I fucking hate journalism so much, man. It must be crazy. Like, to go into school for journalism, and you're like, I would like to learn more about the world and reveal the truth to people. And then it turns out that being a journalist these days is just like you get handed a fact sheet about whatever insane, unethical, illegal thing is taking place, and then you just have to read out loud from it. Like, you can't have any opinions.
Within 2 weeks.
And he goes live, we'll watch it.
But that was the headline, and the impression that he was giving was that there was time. He was giving the impression that there was time to negotiate a deal with Iran, and now he has decided to take military action. And the question is, when he talked about nearly 2 weeks, was he indeed trying to give the Iranians that impression in order...
Can Iran even respond to this in a meaningful capacity? Not really. They can shell U.S. bases, but apart from that, no. It's like... The problem is that the kind of response that Iran would be prompted to do is the most expensive kind, which is, do you have overwhelming air superiority? Do you have huge amounts of, like, guided munitions? Do you have missiles? Do you have, you know, do you have, like, very, very, very expensive guided weapons? Which, like, they do. They have some. Not much, not compared to us, not compared to Iran, you know. Overwhelmingly, Iran's military power is in having a large standing army and a bunch of Islamic militia groups that they control, or at least guide, direct. Bro, he's late. He's always late. What about covert attacks on U.S. soil? Why? Don't stop buying the Republican propaganda that there's 5 million deep state, you know, deep cover agents from Iran. It's not. He's on. I'm looking at the address right now. You were paused? Oh, I did pause, Lamau. Oh shit. You know it's a big one when we get the full lead up.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people.
That was their
hundreds
special
of
move.
thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack.
Why does JD
With
look
all
like
of that
that?
being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight. Not even close.
Again, I cannot overstate how much this rhetoric breaks with everything that he's been saying for 10 years. Okay, this "we are the world's policemen. At any moment, we will get involved in the Middle East." He's done strongman posturing. Obviously, he struck Soleimani, but this, at any moment, we're ready to do more war. This is gonna disillusion a lot of his base, man. It's fucking crazy.
There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God, I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
God bless Israel. Dude. I can't.
The Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
I can't. There are going to be so many Nazis. It's not even just going to be a Nazi thing. Israel-focused JQism is going to be like a mainstream ideology again. Entirely because of the... Like, this is providing such an insane amount of fuel. An unbelievable amount of fuel for the fire, dude. I can't believe it.
Thank you.
Wow. No, that was great. That was great. Fuente's gonna hang himself. Yeah, what the fuck is the point of being a Nazi when, like, this is the GOP? Oh, man. That's crazy. Well, look, I maintain, by the way, the point of this exercise is to legitimize forever war. There's no chance this is the only bombing run that we do. There's no way. There's no way we would come this far and then what, stop? What's the point of that? None of this had anything to do with nukes. The whole right-wing populism thing just being a commercial for corporate interests. I saw a phenomenal edit on Twitter, which was Trump's face turning into George Bush. It was one of those like schizo conspiracy post images where like there's Palantir in the background and like a baby being mind controlled and like a McDonald's. I don't know if any of you saw this image, but it was really good. I actually looked for it a little bit to try to make it the thumb for the live stream. But I couldn't find it. I didn't know what to look for. Show us? How can I show you? Wasn't that AI? I don't inspect every image I see online for 40 minutes to see if I can determine whether it was AI or Photoshop or traditionally done or whatever. Wonder how much Iran will play into it. We'll see. They do like being dramatic. Not that they don't have a good reason to right now. Yeah, I saw this one too. This one's pretty good. This one's well done. I don't like this. Is this the image? Did you find it? No. It's you'll know when you find it, okay? It's a proper schizo image. It's not just a face blend, all right? How will Iran respond to this? I don't know. Maybe you should, like, wait and find out. Are we actually at war now? No, we are not legally at war. Legally, we are not at war. All right. Man, oh man. It's going good. It is crazy to me how many people in chat are like, dude, but seriously though, what is the chance of like Iranian sleeper agents? You know what I think you need to do? You need to go learn how to climb rocks or something. If you're so bored that you're getting scared over this, like you need to introduce a little more danger into your life. You know what I mean? I'm not kidding. Because like every time anything happens with Pakistan and India, with anything with Israel, every time it's, you know, World War III this, World War III that, I'm gonna get drafted, all about me, all about me. I know you're bored, okay? I know you're suffering from a spiritual sickness, but somehow at the same time you have like the highest life expectancy in American history. I understand that like you're you know surviving, but you're not living, okay? But you have to express those feelings in a way that doesn't come across as like Westoids trying to hog the attention again. Fucking tucking my damn shirt. Can you imagine how frustrating it must be to be Iranian, go online after like your country gets bombed by America and the entire internet is like Americans going, well, can't wait to be drafted. Oh, I'd lose my shit. I would do a 9/11. Oh, here we go. There's the image. That's a good one. We've gone from leftists worshiping the fascist Soviet Union to worshiping the fascist Islamic Republic of Iran. And, well, hold on, wait. I don't think that the Iranian state is fascist. I think they're like an authoritarian theocracy. I don't know if they're... I feel like they're not. I would have to maybe like read up a little bit. Worshipping. What are you talking about? All theocracies tend to be fascist? No, that's not true at all. In fact, usually the opposite is the case. You can tell a Republican made this. You can smell it was made from them. Keck, and it's so funny. If it was, I don't think so. Maybe it's good though. It's good. It's communicating a lot of hatred. Why McDonald's? Because it's America. Yeah, it's definitely not AI. Well, anyway, not great. Would you say Israel is more fascist than Iran? I don't think anyone who asks a question like that would be ready for the answer that I would give, if I'm being honest with you. I think that question reveals to you, or like to me, I should say, that you still think of politics as like a four square, like punit, you know what I mean? Like the political axis with the two lines. I think like in reality, this shit is actually quite complicated. It's a question I refuse to answer. A look at the B-2 stealth bomber, the 2 billion aircraft that can fly around the world unseen. Remember when Trump didn't understand how stealth planes worked? Do you think he understands now? No. No, probably not. That would surprise me. Anyway. I gotta put the Trump address out. One second, let me send that out there. Trump addresses nation after bombing Iran. Israel first. It's literally Israel first, because he said God bless Israel before he said God bless America. So it works. It's like a double entendre. It makes me clever. Makes me a very smart boy. The Speaker of Iran's parliament claimed Fordow was evacuated a long time ago after weeks of threats from the U.S. That wouldn't surprise me, but I also wouldn't trust anything the Iranian government has to say because they lie all the time about shit like this. They are like super, super, super unreliable. From Iran's perspective, nothing particularly surprising has happened. Iran has been expecting an attack on Fordo for several nights. The site was evacuated long ago and has not sustained any irreversible damage in the strike. That could very well be true. It would make sense that they would have evacuated some of these sites beforehand. It's not like we've been subtle about our intention to get involved. At the same time, he could also be full of it, because it's Iran. Gonna do a draft. They're not doing a draft. Do some of the people here who are watching think we drafted for Iraq? Out of curiosity? Just really quickly. Who here, up until right now, like the implication of what I'm saying right now, who here thought they drafted for Iraq? Because some of you must be thinking that, the way you talk about the draft. Every person watching who hasn't said no thought yes. How many people are watching? Approximately 15,000 people thought yes. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Well, bro, I'm playing Power Wash. Cut me some slack. Play a good game. I'm just kidding. I know that Power Wash is one of those games that fills a very specific niche. I'm not here to hate on that. I understand. A lot of games fall into that comfy routine. I get it. I understand. All right, let's take a look. CNN's not producing very much right now. Any more details? More consent manufacturing, please. Yummy! More consent manufacturing, please.
We bring in now Lucas.
Nope, that's the fucking Hannity clip. Okay, it looks like Fox... I mean, it's after hours. It's after hours on a Saturday. So, we're not getting much from them. We'll check CBS and MSNBC. You know what? Rachel Maddow, what do you got?
This is MSNBC's ongoing special breaking news coverage.
Thanks for clearing that
up.
up.
I'm Rachel Maddow. If you're just tuning in, we are following the breaking news that U.S. bombers carried out strikes today at 3 Iranian nuclear sites. One at Natanz, a site that had previously been hit by Israel. Israel and Iran have been trading strikes since Israel's surprise attack last Friday. Israel has already attacked the site at Natanz. Now the United States has done so as well. Another nuclear site near Isfahan in Iran, and also, according to the president, the facility called Fordo, which is a deep...
This framing is anti-Semitic.
Decades had the both intent and the ability to direct and inspire individuals.
Reaching that point right now, and I think this measurably moves us forward to that end.
We have learned here at CBS that there was some advance notice that was on past to Iran about these strikes. But as I said, there wasn't full diplomatic notice being given to all of the allies in the region. You ran that operation in 2020 when, as you mentioned, Qasem Soleimani.
The military installation.
Can't stand the audio on this. Okay, sorry. We're not looking at all the consent manufacturing right now. Too many pictures of Khomeini? Well, you don't like the beard? That's fine. We're probably about to get some disastrous, fucking insane, low IQ takes from the establishment media. So in the meantime, why don't we cover something fun like the asbestos unbanning? You guys hear that? That one's pretty good. Want to unban asbestos? No, you guys didn't hear about that? The Trump administration will reconsider a ban on the use of asbestos in the U.S. that took a decades-long battle to be finalized, sparking concern among health advocates. Yeah, concern. Some concern. Trump has always hated the asbestos ban. Yeah, he probably saved like $40 or $50 whenever he would build a new building if they used asbestos instead of like other fireproofing material. We know in some settings as little as 1 day of exposure can give some individuals cancer. That is crazy. Man, asbestos fucking sucks. Sheesh. Oh my God. Put lead back in the paint. Dude, I've said this, but like if right now we were still fighting over leaded paint, leaded gasoline, asbestos, they would all be like culture war issues, and MAGA would be against all of them. MAGA would be like, well, you fucking pussies, you want to lose the, you know, industrial war with China by hamstringing American industry. They would do that. They've done that with everything else. They do that with every environmental thing. To remind myself of this topic, I pulled up this Twitter thread. Since there was talk about bringing back asbestos, I thought it would be useful to describe just some of what happens to you when you breathe this stuff in your lungs. I would like to know, because I actually don't know. I actually do not know. All I know is that asbestos is bad, that it gives you like lung cancer and you shouldn't breathe it in. That's the only thing I know. I don't know like chemically what it does. Like, why is it such a carcinogen? What happens here? Naturally occurring fibrous minerals, heat resistance, strength. We've been using it for decades. Inhalation of asbestos fibers will directly damage your lungs, can lead to mesothelioma, lung cancer, and asbestosis. Asbestosis. A lot of S's there. It'd be hard for a snake to pronounce. Thankfully, I'm on the up and up. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here. I don't like it, though. Nah, I don't like that. Nope. Nah. No. You don't like to see shit like this in your body, do you? Like, with no context, you really have no idea whether or not this is good or bad, whether it's supposed to look like this, but it always is bad. It's kind of funny how sometimes, like, if you're, like, on a microscopic level, you intellectually, you understand, well, you don't really know what things are supposed to look like. It's a wacky world down there. Then you look at this and your gut instinct is like, that's bad. And then in reality, yeah, it is bad. You know what I mean? Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-mm. No, sir. All right. So why are we doing this? Why are we trying to re-legalize asbestos? Why are we doing this? EPA will revisit Biden-era ban on the last type of asbestos used in the U.S. So they want to reconsider like the last, like a, because it was Biden era. Okay, gotcha. That's why. Reconsider the Biden administration's rule over roughly the next 30 months. Officials will look at whether parts of the ban, quote, went beyond what is necessary to eliminate the unreasonable risk and whether alternative measures, such as requiring permanent workplace protection measures, would eliminate the unreasonable risk. Nah, actually, we don't want to remove the permacarcinogen from your roofing. Just make sure everyone's always wearing N95s or something. All right. No, that's fine. Whatever. Chrysotile asbestos is found in products like brake blocks, asbestos diaphragms, and sheet gaskets, and was banned under the Toxic Substances Control Act, which was broadened in 2016. Okay. When the ban was announced, there were 8 U.S. facilities that used asbestos diaphragms in the chlor-alkali sector for the manufacture of chlorine and sodium hydrochloride, chemicals commonly used as water disinfectants. The facilities were given at least 5 years to make the change. 5 years, dude. Holy shit. Dude, the Biden administration is fucking crap. The Biden was 100 years old, but legislated like he was 20. Seriously, every time they came out with any kind of like regulatory change, they were like, yeah, just give it, like, we just take 20 years to change things, you know? Whatever. So they're only going after this because it's like a Biden era thing, then. They wouldn't touch it otherwise. All right. Off topic right now, but this American World War III nuke fear-mongering from their suburban homes while I'm getting alerts on my phone every day about bombs being dropped by Israel on my homeland is really annoying. Yeah, no, I agree. And listen, okay, I apologize for the spiritual malaise of my countrymen. You have to understand, okay? Humans are meant to experience the stress of being pursued by a wild tiger or the thrill of warfare. You know what I mean? But over here, there is no war, none that they get involved in. You know, even the average soldier just gets deployed to a base and, like, you know, rapes women from the country that their U.S. base is stationed in. You know, they're not, like, actually out there doing any war fighting or whatever. And the like stress of day to day is more about making the rent payments. So when people feel like they have the opportunity to jump on, like, ooh, maybe my spiritual malaise isn't the real I'm scared right now. Maybe the reason I'm scared is because of World War III. It makes them feel way cooler. You get what I mean, right? Like, it's like the spirit, the underlying anxiety is because you have no friends and your life sucks, and you're watching a live streamer right now. But you want to feel like the stress is being caused by this big, like, narratively satisfying, top level, like, major global issue, because that makes you feel like it's a little more justified. It's a little more, like, out of your control. So yeah, I apologize for the behavior of my countrymen, okay? One day, God willing, we'll hear about a bomb being dropped somewhere 8,000 miles from our country, and I won't get World War III posting in chat. But for right now, that's a tall order, okay? We have to address the spiritual malaise. So we should go back to running from tigers. I genuinely think that if people in chat experienced a little more day-to-day risk in, like, not just like an immortal sense, but more in like just taking chances on things, like talking to that person you think is pretty, or going out and hanging out with some new people, or trying something new, you wouldn't be as concerned about stuff like this, because the desire in your heart to experience, like, the thrill of danger would be satiated in a healthy way, rather than through whatever this is. You're going to look so dumb when the bombs drop 9,000 miles away and it does actually lead to World War III. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm coasting until then. You know what gets me the most, though? When people are like, oh, so the Middle Eastern bombings won't lead to World War III? Nothing ever happens. Dog, just say you don't fucking care if Iranians die. What the fuck? That's a crazy thing to do. Like, oh, so we didn't get in a war. Nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, like, they're throwing Palestinians into a wood chipper every day. You know, every day people over there are, like, holding the dismembered body parts of what was their 2-year-old child. And you over here are like, oh, Israel's not, like, nuking the world or something. Nothing happens. Like, okay, all right. I'm just calling you guys out for being self-centered. Like, I'm the live streamer. I should be the one embarrassing myself in that fashion. But sometimes you guys take the cake. Maybe people are scared their country is going back to war and don't actually want to see people die and are not coping that they're lonely. That is, with respect, that's cope. People aren't World War III posting online because they're genuinely concerned about getting drafted. If you were concerned about getting drafted, you would have already broken your own leg. That's cope. You want a narrative to legitimize the spiritual malaise. Listen, I get it. The spiritual malaise fucking sucks. Okay? I understand. Sometimes I feel it, and then I go outside with my beautiful partner, and I feel the sun on my skin, and I climb a big rock. And then I think, damn, I'm so tall right now. I'm, like, height mogging you short cells. And then I go back down, and I get to carry that high with me for, like, a month. It's great. I don't have a partner, but I'm going to play Warhammer with the boys tomorrow. I think that's good. I think that's delightful. What am I looking at here? U.S. court allows Trump to retain control of National Guard. The Ninth Circuit Court? That's great. Ninth Circuit of Appeals on Thursday ruled Trump can continue his control over the National Guard troops in L.A. for now. Okay, wait, hold on. This doesn't invalidate the lower court ruling. This just invalidates the injunction. Or does it? Does it invalidate the future case, or does it invalidate the injunction? It stays the stay, not the case. Well, this article doesn't make that very clear at all. Okay, so they've only stopped the injunction. Okay, okay. Trump approval falls. Yeah, not surprising there. By a decent amount, too. Just 27% of adults under 30 approve of Trump's job handling, while 66% disapprove. Okay. The young'uns are all right. Wow, dude, look at that drop. I know it's YouGov, so their shit's not very reliable, but that's still a pretty substantial drop. I don't know how much I can believe that, though. Dude, look at how much it swings with young people. They're crashing the fuck out. Yeah. Immigration approval. I have seen the immigration approval plummeting on a few diagrams. This initial plummet right here, that was the big attention to, not Mahmoud Khalil, sorry, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And now we're going back down, it seems. Well, it's all going pretty good. Only 16% of Americans think the U.S. military should get involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran. Jesus. Which 16? Pretty even split, to be honest. Republicans have not really been propagandized to one forever war in the Middle East. That's just not their... It's not their line. They haven't been prepped for it. A lot of people voted for Trump not out of principle, but out of desire for change that only Republicans really promised. Yeah, it is worth keeping in mind that, like, the thing that got Trump in the White House a second time was a rejection of the status quo and a hope that Trump would bring change. And all the change that Trump has brought so far has been gay and retarded. It's the problem. Like, all the change that Trump has brought so far, like, okay, Palantir will actually run the U.S. government. Your water, your drinking water, will have more shit per liter. We will defend Israel no matter what. We might even, like, nuke countries for them. Like, none of the big transformative changes have been anything. Like, the job market still fucking sucks. Nobody's happy with where the country's at right now. You gotta get a bit of a rollback on this, you know? Will the midterms actually reflect that, though? Oh, who the fuck knows? The midterms are Democrats. Who likes Democrats? Not me. We'll see. I got my eye on Mahmoud. Wait, why did I say Mahmoud Khalil? You know why I was looking at, why I said Mahmoud Khalil? Because I was looking at that tab where I got Mahmoud Khalil's shit up, because we got to talk about him too. What I was thinking of, however, was Mamdani, whose name also starts with an M. Mamdani. If Mamdani doesn't win, I gotta say, this stream is going to take... Racist? Yeah, okay, you see how many times I mix up white boys? I don't want to hear it. This is why I can't play Bandle or whatever with you fucking people, all right? Oh, guess which celebrity this face is. I'm flop sweating because the skin tone is like 2 microtones darker than mine. I don't want to hear it, okay? That happens to NL too, to be fair. Yeah, okay, but, like, it's less politically... If you're NL, people can think you're a racist idiot for a bit. If I'm a racist idiot for a bit or otherwise, people are going to write threads about how irresponsible it is for me to give my opinion on the conflict in the Middle East. You can't have... People will... And I'm not kidding here, and this pisses me the fuck off. People will get really indignant at you when you don't have a degree in everything in the world, okay? I, like, espouse... I'm giving my opinions on how I think, like... nuclear energy is cool, but solar energy is also cool. And I get giant fucking emails from people with PhDs in both solar and nuclear engineering explaining to me how my support for the other one is like adventurism and contributing to the decline of the global humanity because I'm misleading people on the potential solutions. Like, people can't, you can't give anything away to you people. You can't show weakness. Stop reading autistic people's emails. I might as well just delete my email account then. Which, you know, to be fair, what a dream. What a dream. Only read sponsor emails. I've been getting so many sponsor emails lately. You responded to my email about fructose a while ago and I'll forever be grateful. Don't admit in chat that you're one of the people who sent me the big emails. You have any idea how... it's a to-do list, okay? I open up, I'm looking to get through the to-do list and someone's like, hey, by the way, here's like a 40-minute read. Okay. I skimmed your email. I got the essential parts. Hardest job? You people have no idea. What the fuck am I doing? To be Mamdani scarily behind. I know. I knew that when you said it like a minute ago. Live streaming? Ridge wallets? Yeah, I'm not. The Ridge wallets are not my game. I don't really like the clip wallets in general. You should just have a leather wallet. If you have a good leather wallet, that shit'll last you literally your whole life. Which is crazy, right? Like a proper full grain leather wallet, that'll last you forever. Now, a metal one probably will too, but the difference is that a leather one's cool and a metal one's gay. I'm sorry. The kind you keep in your back pocket? I don't really keep wallets in my back pockets anyway, but yeah, a good full grain leather wallet will last forever. I bet most of you people have plastic wallet. I don't want to talk about it. You're making me mad just thinking about it. You've got like little flakes of black fake leather creasing and like flaking off at the edges of the corner because it was like 25 bucks and you got it at Macy's. Oh, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. I'm being a cunt. Listen, it's pride, okay? I'm not doing the fashion bit. I am, however, I'm going to say one thing, okay? I'm going to say one thing. And this is the one that got away. I regret not getting this wallet because they only made... How many did they make? How many did they make? They made a limited amount of these, okay? Look at this. Indigo dyed, natural, white leather wallet. Look at that shit. So it would have broken in both along the leather lines and along the indigo lines. They only made a few. There are no more. I can't get them anymore. But god damn, look at that. Why didn't you buy it? Because it's 365 bucks. But I shoulda. It's a cost per wear thing. Are you going to spend $365 on like a pair of pants you're only wearing twice? Probably not. Or at least I wouldn't. But if you're wearing a wallet for your entire life, or wearing, I guess, carrying a wallet for your entire life. How you find these items? Blue Owl Workshop? It's so pretty. Ah, look at that. No wallet lasts a lifetime. It's full grain leather. Wallet lifespan's like 6 years max. What? What? It's leather. It's full grain leather. It'll last your lifetime. 6 years? What the fuck are you doing to your wallet? Or leather jackets that's still around from like the 1920s and 30s. You just take care of some leather. You just give it the little conditioner or whatever. My wallets last about a month each. Why? Okay, I don't get it. It doesn't matter. It's fine. You don't have to spend like $365 to get a leather wallet that'll last decades. You can get one for like $100 easily. Yeah, anything made out of full grain leather is probably fine. Just make sure it's got the nice stitching, otherwise it'll come apart. My grandmother still has a wallet from the Jim Crow era. That's cool. That's cool. It's not like a Jim Crow themed wallet, right? Like it's not a racist wallet. It's a racist wallet? Ah, shit. Ah, fuck. Oh, jeez. How can wallet be racist? Well, you've got, like, little decals on it or something. I don't fucking know. Oh, Jesus Christ. You guys see this shit? Do you see this motherfucker aura farming? Hold on, let me find the original post so I can scroll up from there. Mamdani. Mamdani.
Hey guys, we're here at Inwood Hill Park. We are at the top of Manhattan. And as we always say in New York City, we outside. We're going to be outside for the rest of the night because we're going to be walking the entirety of Manhattan. So come on out and come say hi. We'll see you there.
He walked all the way down Manhattan. Meeting a bunch of people.
Thank you.
Dude, there are so many sightings with him. He posted some of them, but a lot of them, like, a lot of people are just like, yeah, I saw fucking Mamdani out there, you know? I phone banked for him today. He was in the Zoom call. He is either, like, the most physically fit man of his age imaginable, or he does a lot of coke. I have no idea where he gets the energy to do all this stuff. I do not understand it. It is crazy. Maybe he's just a natural extrovert. Yeah, no, genuine. Maybe he just like he just fucking loves interacting with people, and that's all it takes.
Yo, man, look, keep on getting it, Playboy.
Next mayor, baby. That's the next mayor right there. We here, we lit. Ah, this shit. Come on. You know the vibe. We ain't say no. This is New York City. Come on. Thank you. My dog. See, come on, man. Organic. I hope y'all rolling on that. I hope you got sound and audio. Thank you so much.
I really hope.
If Mamdani doesn't win this, I'm pivoting to a dictatorial style of socialism. Yeah, I think I kind of get where you're coming from. Past a point, you have to set aside all the distractions. The like, oh, well, bourgeois media convinced them or whatever. And you have to, eventually you begin to realize why Lenin disregards workers' council. No, that was bad. Those workers' councils were based, okay? That was bad. He shouldn't have done that, okay? But imagine if you complete the November Revolution and then the workers' councils are all like, yeah, here's our guy. This is the guy we're choosing to lead the Soviet Union, okay? Andrew Kwomovich. I don't know, man.
Thank you so much.
Let's get it.
Thank you.
We're all behind you.
Thank you. So, thank you so much.
Is that cool? We just do a little
October, not November. February, not November. Fuck you.
walk around. Maybe you talk a little bit about the neighborhood. Maybe see who comes up to you.
That's what he's running on, man. It's making the city affordable for us, bro. I had to, like you said, I had to dip to Jersey because I have 4 kids, and I couldn't afford to stay where I was at. You know what I mean? I love it here. I love coming outside and seeing my people, seeing my food, hearing my music, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't able to do that as a born and bred New Yorker, bro. That breaks my heart.
Now we're like, what's going on? This is my community. I remember when you couldn't walk in these parks. Now look, I could come here, sit down and enjoy, but I'm being displaced because I can't afford to live here. I gotta go learn how to swim so I can live in the water, on the sea. Yeah, because this is what it is.
He's seen the H Bomber guy bit.
Rank my man #1. That's what he's running on. Affordability.
What's your name?
Mr. Vargas, Ariel, like the Little Mermaid.
Okay. So you already halfway there for the underwater.
My cousin doesn't believe that you're here. Oh, yes, and she's like, oh my God, send me a picture.
Please send me.
Yeah? Ah, future mayor!
Love the guy, but aren't rent freezes bad from a policy wonk POV? No. No, they're just not. They just these rent freezes are only for specific housing units. They're not for all housing units built onward, so they don't really affect the desire to produce like more supply of housing. The problem is, right, like that a lot of people don't acknowledge, especially a lot of neoliberals, is that they love the just move argument. It's so bad for the city. They would turn every city into Dubai, you know? Like, you have a city core, which you can only do anything in if you're super, super wealthy. And then you have the exurbs where people take 2.5 hours to commute to work so they can work all the jobs that keep the city core running, you know? But the city core itself is actually patronized by the uber wealthy who live in like the suburbs and only come down, so no one lives there. You turn it into Dubai. Like, that's what Dubai is. Who works in Dubai? Not the fucking people you see in the penthouse parties. Slaves built Dubai, you know? Like, the people, they live out in like slums around the city. That's what every American city, especially New York City, would turn into. If you just let the housing price run uncapped upward, okay? Eventually you have to say, no, enough is enough. We want this city to continue to have an appeal to working class people. We want people who work here to live here. We want this city to produce culture, not simply be like an art gallery for people who live outside of it, you know?
I touched you. We're gonna hug you.
We got the young people, we got the DTs on deck, bro, the well-as, everybody.
Lovely to meet you. Yeah. Thank you.
This is the yard right here. This is where fitness happens. I wanted to introduce you.
How you doing?
My name is Zero, but my name is actually Michael.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I appreciate you coming to the community. You know, this is something we don't really get a lot of credit for normally. This is the goal, you know, to show you if you're going to struggle for something that you're trying to get.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually going to use this to motivate my handstand right now.
Thank you. Let's see it, let's see it.
Yeah, Zero, get right.
Get right, get right.
Yeah, Zero.
Easy money. Easy money. Come on.
Jesus, man.
Come on, look at this. This is what we bring it.
Oh my God.
My goodness.
Come on. Community building, baby. That's what we're doing out here.
Us, bro. I thought he was gonna fall.
Yeah. You know what I think about when I see stuff like this? Like, because you wonder why it looks really clean. You know, why don't more cities have little like areas like this? And I think a lot of the times it's because people are worried it'll get dirty or full of vagrancy. Or homeless people or whatever. Like, one of the things that makes New York special in America, right? This is much more common outside of America. But one of the things that makes New York City special is that people actually treat it like a community, not like a bunch of houses, the inside of which is your castle, which no one else must broach, and the outside of which is like the outside that you traverse to get to key destinations. You know, you have an actual neighborhood, an actual community, and as a consequence of that, often neighborhoods will stay well, not clean. It's New York City. What I should say is they stay pro-social even without like necessarily outside investment. Like, to put a good example of this, there are so many parks and little recreational areas in Los Angeles that go to shit because nobody in the community cares about them. Nobody in the community cleans them up or looks over them or uses them, and because they're not used, they get treated as like dysfunctional spaces where, you know, people like vagrancy and drug use and homelessness and stuff. I've seen streamers get the police called to them for doing fun stuff at local parks. Ruroids are just anti-human. Yeah, no, genuinely, but it's not just Ruroids, right? Because in LA as well, it's like any city that doesn't have that that community attitude. New York City, and much of it does. And that's not the only city that does, of course, but I think that New York City is unique in America. So I don't know. Like, if you want your city to look nice, you have to treat it, you have to care about it, basically. You know what I mean?
My goodness. Come on. Community building, baby. That's what we're doing.
You think the black suit is too harsh? On Mamdani? No, there's nothing wrong with the black suit at all. Actually, I think that Zoran, for the most part, dresses quite well. Like, I think he actually, relative to a lot of other politicians I've seen, dresses quite well. Not like really well. He's not like a sartorial, you know, he's not like a dandy or anything, but he dresses quite well.
Hey, us bro.
I thought he was gonna fall. I got nervous. Go with that one.
Hey, can we get like a picture with you? Absolutely. His mom has been kept.
Look at that, bro. Come on. Come on, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real fast. Cuomo is not coming uptown.
Oh my God, the
He's
audio.
not coming up here. If he is, he's going to some private dinner event with a bunch of people that are not real people. We here to park with some real people. You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely voting for you. I already have my thing. I was going to vote tomorrow. I'm a teacher as well, so at school, we all talk about you.
Hello. I've been canvassing for you, and then I just heard that you were here, so I wanted to meet you in person.
So much. Hi, I just want to let you know I'm a Jewish New Yorker, and I'm really excited about this.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
It means the world.
Incredible.
What's your name?
Emily.
Emily.
Danny.
Danny.
Great to meet you, brother.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Hey, man.
I just voted for you. I voted for him yesterday, like early voting. There were so many people out.
I'm sweating because I'm thinking about that rally last night. That energy in that building was incredible, man. But like I said, job's not finished.
Job not finished.
Man, what up, baby? Get okay? Show my brother. The hood, in the hood. Yes, sir. You already know. That's what it is, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I was just telling him.
The amount of PAC money Cuomo's bought in is insane. Pretty sure it's like 35 million. Yeah, the amount of PAC money assisting Cuomo is many times greater than the amount they're legally allowed to have themselves for the campaign. Apparently in the area, like, people are getting buffeted with anti-Mamdani pro-Cuomo ads. Like he's the radio and television and stuff. They're dumping money into it.
Like, he's running for mayor, you know what I'm saying?
Man, what's your name? Zoran Mamdani.
All right, you gonna look out for us?
Absolutely.
Running the heights in the hood? That's what it is.
Running to freeze the rent.
All right,
Yeah, Jesus Christ, look at this. Listen, okay, in my heart, I will always hold democratic principles, but if there are only so many black pills that you can take before you arrive at the inevitable conclusion of, like, until Citizens United is revoked and we're back on the right track, so you have to drag the population kicking and screaming to a better future. You know what I mean? It's like it's like a reconstructionist attitude, but towards the entire country, because this is a Democratic primary. It's not the Republicans this time. Like, you keep like selecting, like subgrouping and subgrouping, like more and more. Well, if we just, you know, got rid of the more conservative, reactionary, pro-trans Democrats, then, well, no, eventually you just have to shelf the whole democracy thing and say, no, fuck you, you're getting Mamdani, your city will be better, and I don't care if you're upset about it. I'm LARPing right now. I mean, what am I going to do, appoint him as vizier? Fucking... scheming vizier to Cuomo. It's nothing I can do.
Bro, that's why I'm down here with my man, because I was like, yo, listen. Are you Dominican?
No, I'm not.
He looks like it though, right? Yeah, he got that barber. I'm a barber. Take my number down. See? So he's I'm a barber. I can't hear my.
You're allowed to see, because this look right there. I sure better than that. Boom.
Why you gotta put me down?
I ain't putting you no. It's good, but I'll do a better job. That's a 9. You already get the vote from up here.
Fall asleep.
No, don't have you lace. You get every vote in town, bro.
I'll fall asleep. My eyebrows will be done.
Hey, you young, handsome, you know what I mean?
Oh, there we go.
Is that my number?
Call me Diggity. Yeah, Diggity the barber. Diggity the barber. Diggity. Nice to meet you, my brother.
Diggity.
Yes, sir. You doing what you doing, my brother. Yo, good luck, man. I'll vote for you.
Thank you.
My man, number one. You spoke to me right here. You chilling with us in the hood. You heard? Come on now.
How do you feel about the idea of voters not getting access to programs they vote against? It's not really, like, doable. It would be very satisfying if you could do that, but in practice, you can't really do that. I do think, though, there should be some kind of vindictive governance by, like, in a democratic mandate against rural communities, like, broadly, to an extent. Like, how are you supposed to reconcile, for example, the fact that many of America's social welfare programs were overwhelmingly supported under FDR, and the way they got stripped and destroyed was white people being convinced that black people were getting too much use of them? That's how they got rid of, like, all of them, dude. Like, all of them. Every program we put in place, all of it, top to bottom, the strategy will tell white people to be afraid of black people using it. And it worked every single time. What do you do with that? Like, Jesus Christ, eventually, like, we can't keep falling for this, man. Did you see people being weird about Mamdani's wife on Twitter? I saw people being weird. The main thing I was concerned about was, like, how my eyes popped out of my skull, and I said, awooga, and then, like, little steam clouds blew out of my ears. She's gorgeous. And you know why she's gorgeous, by the way? It's not just the face. because obviously that's Kino. Face card, pass, check, okay? It's the fashion. I saw people talking about this, but her style, her sense of style is on point. And I think people appreciate that more than you might think. I think that like people love to pretend the only thing that matters about your appearance is your smile, your physique, and your face. And those are very important. However, style, very important. I want to see. Mamdani wife. Here's just one photo of many, but I think you'll immediately understand. Yeah, I know, right? But I'm telling you, like it's genuinely a style thing. And it's not me downplaying the raw facial structure at work there, but like this is why I got into the game. You know, when I was you know, hitting up with the hot people off Grindr or whatever. You know, I would match with people who just put so much more effort into their appearance than me. Frankly, it made me sick. I felt like I was being condescended to, you know? No one wants to be... Maybe some of you guys are okay with that. From my perspective, it's like you're a big lumbering bear, which I am compared to a lot of the people, you know, you're fucking like a twink or a lady or whatever. And they're like the pretty one? Fuck that. We can both be pretty. Well, you think you're better than me? You understand. They're both lucky they have each other. Well, I don't know their personal life, but they both look pretty damn good. Can tell you that much.
Take it easy. Yes, sir. Yo, what's up? What up? Yo, what's good? You voting? I'm voting. You voting? What you need? You need your rent to freeze to stay where it's at?
Perfect. That sounds good. How you doing? I'm doing well, boss. Good. My name's Zoran. I'm running for mayor.
All you gotta do is put him #1. And don't put Cuomo nowhere on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Glad they're having fun. What was I doing this for? Oh, that's right. Yeah, he walked all the way down Manhattan. Long ass tie. Best slice in NYC? I wouldn't know. Not much of a pizza guy.
Days after middle school, I would come here, my poppy seed bagel, scallion cream cheese, rest in peace, Absolute Bagels. Although you can still buy some Pulp Tropicana at a supermarket near you.
Rip Absolute Bagels. It's a damn celebrity. Couldn't see Cuomo doing this shit, huh? Cuomo walking down, are you kidding? He's in a car and he's flanked by bodyguards. Still moving, still grooving. If he doesn't win, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Let's go! You know kneeling, bro? Yeah. That's my guy! Let's go!
Is it okay to have this hat if you don't follow baseball at all? Is that okay? Like, no one's going to come up to you and say, like, you know, how do you feel about the Yankees or what? This is like one of the hats. It's fashion. It's one of the hats, you know?
We are now just 4 days left from the election. We have now been walking.
Get a Mariners hat. Doesn't have the same look to it, I'm afraid. Also, if I wore a Mariners hat in Seattle, people would ask me about it. They'd be like, hey, did you catch the game? And I'd be like, no. Yes. And then I would run off to the bathroom. And I don't want to be put in that position every time.
For probably about 6 hours, and it is so exciting to actually speak to New Yorkers because everyone knows what's on the ballot this June 24th. It's whether we can actually afford the city that we call our home, and our campaign is fighting exactly for that, and we're fighting through the most amount of money that's ever been spent in a super PAC in New York City municipal history, and we're going to be able to overcome that because of you. So come on.
What are the polls saying? The polls are deadlocked. It's genuinely very difficult to tell. How blackpilling would it be if TV ads were basically like completely ineffective at winning Democrats' national elections, but they're very effective at helping Andrew Cuomo win local ones? That would be... Can he put this on TV? How much would that cost? Oh, this is the video we just saw.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Zohran Kwame Mamdani, and I know that there are many here today, and there are many watching and many listening who may have seen an ad mentioning my name on TV.
Huh?
Or a commercial on the radio, or a mailer in your mailbox, or a video when you're watching YouTube. And you may wonder, who is funding these ads? And it is in fact the same person that you were picketing just a few days ago. Because when Bill Ackman tries to take on diversity, equity, and inclusion, he also wants to take on any threat to the Trump administration across this country. And so just a few days ago, he spent another $250,000 on those same ads that you are seeing and you are hearing and you are reading. And so to quote the words of a famous New Yorker, allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born in Kampala, Uganda, in East Africa. I was given my middle name Kwame by my father, who named me after the first Prime Minister of Ghana. And decades ago, in Uganda, we won our independence from the British in 1962. We can clap for that. And when we did, the United States government gave the Ugandan government 23 scholarships as a gift for independence. And my father won one of those scholarships. He came to this country to study to be an engineer at the University of Pittsburgh. And sometime into his studies, his face buried in his book, he heard the words reverberate in the corridor around him, "Which side are you on? Which side are you on?" These were words being sung by members of SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, recruiting students to get on the bus to go to Montgomery, Alabama. And my father got on that bus. He marched. He was hosed down. He was thrown in jail. He was given one phone call. And he called the Ugandan ambassador to the United States. He said, "Can you get me out of jail?" The ambassador said, "What are you doing in jail? We sent you there to study." My father said, "You sent me here as a gift for our freedom. They are fighting for theirs. It's one and the same." And so I was raised with this understanding that freedom and the fight for it is interconnected. And as I look across this city today, I am reminded that freedom is only worth as much as our ability to exercise it. Because we hear politicians of the past come on stages across this city, including this one, saying that they believe this is the greatest city in the world. But they do not answer the question that Dr. King posed decades ago. What good is having the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a hamburger? What good is being the greatest city in the world if New Yorkers can't afford to live here? What good is it if our own people cannot afford their rent, their childcare, their groceries, even $2.90 for their Metro card? What good is that but making a museum of what once was in the city that we love? And so I stand here before you as an assembly member running for mayor with a very simple message. I am running to make the most expensive city in the United States of America affordable. I'm running to make it affordable for the working and middle class New Yorkers who built this city. And I also know that to run, to believe, it is not enough in and of itself. Because we know the words of James 2:14. Faith without works is death. If we believe in something, we must deliver something. That is how we will be judged. And when I believe in affordability, I will deliver it by freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants across the city of New York. When I believe in affordability, I will deliver it by making the slowest buses in the country fast and free. When I believe in affordability, I will deliver it by finally bringing universal child care to each and every New Yorker across this city. But I know that there are many who say that when you stand for what you believe in, you lose your ability to win. And I actually think of the words that Reverend Sharpton shared when he was running for president. He shared, there are those in the Democratic Party who have driven the party further and further to the right in the name of a winning strategy. And it seems that it is their presumption that the only way to be electable is that progressive forces and people of color must voluntarily turn into invisible people. And I have spent this campaign speaking to those so-called invisible people.
I have spoken to the New Yorkers who do not see themselves in their politics, do not see themselves in their politicians, and do not see themselves in the policies that are being proposed. And what I have found is that it is time to bring those from the margins to the mainstream. It is time for us to make every New Yorker visible across this city. But when we stand up and do so, we will face the wrath of all the money in the world. And so right now, you will see more than $20 million being spent against me, $20 million being trying to redefine me. But let me tell you who I am. I am a man who believes in the possibility of this city. I am one who believes that we must win a new city, a city for each and every New Yorker, one they...
Not to devalue Mamdani, but from the way he speaks, and obviously you can get like there's a pretty close tie, I think, to the way he speaks and the way people like Martin Luther King Jr. spoke in this specific kind of like, you know, we as a people must rise up. Well, but I think the reason, right, so I just related him to MLK Jr., but I think the point I'm getting at is that there used to be a lot more people who spoke like this, and MLK Jr. was one of the last. And that's why we relate to him, right? Because if you take a look at writings from union leaders and socialists back during the beginning of the 20th century, I feel like people often spoke like this. It not necessarily with the same charisma. Mamdani is very charismatic, but I mean like this kind of speaking, right? Yeah, the cadence and the priorities and what you're addressing and how you're trying to speak about. I think I like we talk about it like we relate it to MLK. I think this is just the way revolutionary political actors, or at the very least, like, you know, countercultural political actors speak from the left. And it used to be common, and we've just experienced like a half-century-long die-off of them. Like, I think that what we're really talking about is an underlying current and tendency, like a recurring pattern that goes back a long time, and we've just not had it for a long time because, I don't know, neoliberalism, the Vietnam War, Watergate, because they all got killed. Well, no, like a few got killed, but I don't know. It's like, I think it's an assimilationist thing. You know what I mean? After the Civil Rights Act was passed, I think it became a lot more difficult to be as oppositional with the United States government as a black man fighting for his freedom because, you know, legally, you were now on equal footing. Obviously, that didn't translate to reality. I think it's so much easier to speak like this when you have a clear enemy, right? When there's a very obvious like oppositional relationship. You have the working class and the owners. You know, you have pro-war or anti-war. You know, it's much easier to talk that way. You know, remember Muhammad Ali? No, what was it? No Vietnamese ever called me the N-word. Sorry, I know you guys aren't ready for what he actually said, but you remember that was Muhammad. It was him, right? He was the one who said that? Okay, just making sure. No one would talk like that these days, right? Like, can you imagine if like a famous black athlete made a comment like kind of close to that in tone? I think people would laugh at him. Even if it was over the subject of like, well, should you go to the draft? Like, should you be drafted for a war with Iran or whatever the fuck else is going on? If he spoke like that, people would say, well, you're aura farming and that's great, but like, you know, what the fuck are you talking about, man? No Iranian ever called me the hard R. It's exactly how he would say it. I don't know. There has been a very deliberate, long-term effort to weaken progressive activism by abstracting the line between oppressor and oppressed, you know? And this goes all the way across, right? To me, the most obvious example of the weakening of this dynamic is in wealth. Wealthy people watch the exact same shit you do, and they dress the same as you, and they talk the same as you. 100 years ago, wealthy people would walk around in like heavy, expensive three-piece suits with top hats. They would go to the theater. They had totally different lifestyles than you. Nowadays, wealthy people are retarded. They watch Joe Rogan. They spend hours browsing social media. You know, J.K. Rowling spends all day replying to tweets. Elon's probably brain cooked on Twitter and YouTube. You know, there's not, in terms of their behavior and culture and like class distinctions, there's basically no difference between a person like Zuckerberg and you. Now, in terms of power and wealth, obviously the difference is galactic, right? But in terms of like signifiers, it used to be if there was like a scuffle between the wealthy and the poor on the street, you would immediately see what you were looking at, right? If there was like a group of wealthy gentlemen walking down, you know, Broadway, and then there were some like gutter urchins yelling at them, you would immediately understand like where the lines are, what's going on. Nowadays, you see wealthy and poor people. Well, for one, wealthy and poor people don't argue in public because how could they? How do you identify a wealthy person? Poor people, like off Depop or at thrift stores, they wear designer clothes now. Poor people wear Gucci. There's just too much of it. So, like, yeah, there's no class divide that you can actually identify, which means that there's nothing to rail against. There's no easy signifier. Wealthy people don't dress the same as we do. They do. In fact, often they dress quite a bit worse. I think because of because wealth drains your soul and makes you less receptive to art, you know. But yeah, those distinctions just don't exist the way they used to. This is why so many people relate to Trump and Elon. Yeah, it's very dangerous how superficial our identifiers of class are, and how difficult it is to identify people based on them now.
They can afford, one they can do more than just struggle. And to do that, we have to leave behind the old city and the old politicians and the old ways that gave us the struggle that we're living in today. So it is my hope to not only earn your consideration, to not only earn your vote, but to earn your partnership. Because what I want to do is lead this city alongside each and every one of you. And it would be a dream if you gave me that opportunity on Tuesday, June 24th. Thank you so much.
Zoran. So what I'm hearing is we need new law that wealthy people have to dress differently. I mean, if you think about it in a historical context, wouldn't it be weird if a high-up member of the church in like 1500 France, or a member of the royal family dressed in peasant's garb and just acted and walked indistinguishable? Like, the power the oligarchs have over your life is comparable to or greater than the power any random member of a noble family had back then. If you were a peasant just farming your plot of land, you probably wouldn't have your life affected even remotely by the royal family, apart from in the broadest sense. You know, you pay your tithe, you pay the grain or whatever, the grain tax. Nowadays, like, your day-to-day life is getting micro-fucked. Brain tweaks from neuroscientist-developed changes to the algorithm that you consume when you scroll through social media to maximize the amount of time you spend on it so that you consume more ads. Like, in a day-to-day sense, your life is very massaged by those people. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm rambling. Just put the clip in there.
Donnie. Now, you know, I told all the candidates they had 5 minutes, but I didn't tell them the other prerequisite. You see, Zoran don't play fair. To quote Sharpton in front of Sharpton. Play fair now, Zoran.
I'll never get used to Skinny Al Sharpton. It is weird.
That was a chess move there. That's checkmate.
That's funny. Wait, that's Al Sharpton? Yeah, he lost a bunch of weight. I don't know how much clout he has these days. Like, he's quite old. I genuinely don't know. I don't know how much pull he has. I kind of hate him. Yeah, yeah. Did you see Clickbait Wasteland's Brooklyn interview? Why would I see that shit off stream? Damn, Clickbait Wasteland. What's up? You here to give us more ammunition in the war on the median voter? I'm telling you, if Mamdani doesn't win, I'm crashing the fuck out.
Hey, we're out in Brooklyn today interviewing people about the upcoming mayoral election. Early voting actually started today. It's Saturday, June 14th, and the primary is on June 24th. So here's what people had to say. What's your name?
My name is Howard.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
I'm Megan.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And are you from Brooklyn?
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn.
Nice. And who are you supporting in the mayoral election?
I forgot his name. Mundabi, whatever it is.
Mundami?
Let's go.
Yeah. That's what I'm going for.
And why?
I mean, I grew up here my whole life, and I don't know, I want something new. You know, he's young, he has good ideas. You know, I don't know, he's something for the people. That's what I say. You know, I don't know too much about him, but I like him.
Where have you? Oh, sorry. Where have you mostly heard about him?
Actually, here, because I live in Florida too. Yeah, so I go back and forth. Yeah.
So you mostly hear about him through like word of mouth, signs, or?
You know what's crazy? I saw Instagram clip, like a reel, and then I was like, this guy look interesting, and somebody came to my my parents' house, because I live here, you know, I stay with my parents, whatever, and they were telling me that he's running for mayor, so I was like, oh, I know this guy, and they were giving me a couple things that he's doing, that he's voting for, and you know, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try I don't like Cuomo, I'm gonna tell you straight out, so I'm not a Cuomo fan. Yeah, so that's it.
And what's the top issue for you as a voter?
I mean, we are divided. New York City is divided. I mean, the whole country is divided. But like I tell you, I grew up here when none of this was here. When there was no lines, no benches. I'm going way back, you know what I'm saying? So we're just so divided. And it's like overcrowded, that's one. The rent is crazy. You know, it's terrible. So that's one of my biggest issues, like living costs to live here in New York City. You know, this is the Big Apple, you know, so it's like, it's not good. It's not good. So that's my biggest issue. Living costs and just, you know, making it more better and affordable for the people, you know.
Bro, this guy's hard to follow. You're not getting invited to the cookout. This is hard to follow? Are you ESO?
No, thank you. Oh, sorry, it's a little loud here. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No worries, and good luck to everything you're doing. I hope you get some people to give you guys some good, you know.
I think part of the national sort of support that Mamdani has attracted from the American left comes down to white people who don't live in New York City who admire the ability to effortlessly speak with people of color and follow through with all of their mannerisms and hand gestures, you know? Like, I know for a lot of people in chat, you fucked up a dap once, and since then you've been like reliving that shit at 2 a.m. when you're about to fall asleep every night. I think that for some people, it's like a fantasy that you could effortlessly navigate social situations such as those, you know, without risk of making a fool of yourself. Fucking Bill Clinton was dapping people up in the 90s. Yeah, and Bill Clinton to this day is famously known for being a black guy, right? So, you know, there you go.
Point of view from what they're thinking, so it can help your channel. And yeah, you know, I like what you guys are doing. You know, it's good to see what's going on with people. Mike, you know, people are shy, you know, but they need to express themselves. But for me, I'm voting for him.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
You have a good day. What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
My name is Megan. And who are you leaning toward?
Cute cardigan.
For mayor.
I'm leaning towards not Cuomo. Because, you know, there's been so much out there about how I don't think will be a good leader for New York City right now. And I think it's really important that everyone educates themselves on the voting rules this time around with ranked choice. I think it can be really confusing for people, and it's honestly even confusing for me at times. And I think it's important to know what the outcomes would be based on how you're doing ranked choice. Yeah, so I think it's important, more important than ever, I think, to understand how it works and, yeah, to vote accordingly.
Cool. And what's your top issue as a New Yorker?
Oh, my top issue. I will say I think safety is a really important issue.
Interesting.
I think it's very divisive, and I think it's a really hard issue to solve. But I think it is really important. You know, I have a baby, and so, you know, it's something that I think about a lot. And I think the situation has improved a lot. but I know it's, you know, at the top of everyone's minds, including my.
Crime is down. Well, when people say safety, what they usually mean is homeless people and vagrancy. It's not actually like a crime thing. It's more like, and listen, okay, usually this talking point gets co-opted by fascists, but okay, if you're a fascist, stop watching right now. Okay. From a non-fascist perspective, like in a lot of America, you go downtown and there's literally, it's like fucking pathologic, dude. There's literally like camps of homeless people. There's like marauding fucking like vagrants who are looking at you with a dead stare. They're like charge at you to ask you for money. Look, nothing but sympathy to the people who are struggling. I can understand, however, being unnerved by this. You'd like walk down 3rd Street in Seattle, like past sunset, you know? It's, I can understand being concerned. And I do think that lefties should have solutions to this outside of just pretending that it's not a problem. You know? Using strange language for them. I mean, I'm being a goof, I'm being like a goofy goober a little bit. It is a real issue though. And it's the Republicans' fault? No, a lot of these cities are Democrat run. Trust me, Democrats are plenty bad on dealing with, you know, these problems.
Mine, and so, yeah, that's important to me.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to add?
Don't rank Cuomo. That's my main thought.
I'm glad they're right on this
really
one.
Important. I think Cuomo has shown New Yorkers that he's not worthy of being an elected official, and I really hope that we as a city can come together and avoid that.
So what you're saying is that it's just vibes around homeless people? To an extent, but like, let's not pretend that homeless people aren't sometimes, you know, menacing people. Not always, but like, yeah. It's actually not usually the homeless people, I think. It's like people around the homeless people who are kind of marauding. Like, for instance, with my beautiful partner, we had just attended a lovely, it was really cool. You probably wouldn't have gotten let in. It was a cool little music venue downtown in Seattle, over in Belltown, actually, at the Crocodile, if you care. It was you wouldn't get it. But we were walking back to where we parked, which was a while away, you know, and we were walking down 1st Street, and there was a person in, and I understand, depending on where and like where you live, this will sound totally normal or like really fucking weird, but there was a person there walking towards us in a very dark street while we were walking forward, and they were wearing a balaclava covering their face entirely, beanie over the balaclava, full black, head to toe, jacket, shoes, pants, both of their hands in their pockets, staring directly at my partner and I, like swiveling their head to look at us as we got closer, and they were leaning in middle of the sidewalk towards us while we were on the like outer side. Now, I don't assume in a situation like this that they're going to like lunge or attack, but if they had, there was nothing I could have done about it, is my point. Like, they were right up there, hands in pockets. Like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just kind of trusting in the social fabric, you know? So I'm just hoping that they're not that guy. No concealed carry. I did not bring a concealed carry to the music show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's because Vosh hangs at the type of preppy places that pride themselves in being exclusive. Fell for the bait. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, anyway, like, we later ended up walking down 3rd. Anyone know the area I'm talking about? It's like, I think it's 3rd, maybe it's 4th, but it's where they have all those hanging bulb lights on the street. It's like a little further north than the main, than the main like commercial district. And you've got the like hanging bulb. Just show it on Google Maps. I'm not going to show it on Google Maps, okay? Does anyone know Pioneer Square? No, that's south of the main commercial district, okay? I'm talking north of there. Anyway, there was legitimately like 5 to 10 people wandering around there when we walked back who were just like, that's when I said pathologic NPCs, that's what I meant. They were making noises, they were wandering around, their moves were uncanny and unpredictable. They were making the eye contact walking by, some crazy shit, you know, just like very antisocial stuff. And these people, I mean, they're you know, they're suffering. They suffer violence more than I do. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. However, I think you're thinking of Belltown. I just named the Belltown. I'm describing a specific intersection. It's literally Pioneer Square you're describing. I don't know why you're pretending to know more about the city that I live in than me when you're literally wrong. North of the Central Commercial District is Belltown, not Pioneer Square. Pioneer Square is south of it. You walk down First Street. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the point is I wouldn't blame a person for being unnerved by shit like that.
You guys be voting in the Democratic primary coming up, or did you early voting?
Yes, we will be voting for the primary.
No, you're good.
Go ahead, keep
going.
Yeah. So you were just saying, what are some issues to you as a New Yorker that you think the next mayor should address?
Well, I think the next mayor should like address school politics, policing, homelessness, because I have like a lot of people that were like I had grown up with and were raised. They're like homeless now, and they have nowhere to live. That's like a huge thing in my life. To die, they have nowhere to live. So I would like if you could change that. Whoever the next mayor would be, I would love that, to appreciate that a lot.
So you're from Brooklyn, from around here?
Oh no, I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from Harlem. My family's from Brooklyn though. Yeah. Shout out NYC, New York. We love y'all.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
How long have you lived in New York?
Oh my God, it's I think it's been
one time I was walking home from work in the city and I saw someone who, and I felt so bad for them, was sitting by a bus stop with a massive stack of trash. She smiled at us and like half her teeth were missing, the poor thing, but it freaked us the hell out because she smiled at us a little aggressively. I felt so bad. I never would have thought homelessness was so ruinous. Is that a bait post? No, it's not a bait post. Yeah, homelessness can be pretty ruinous. I understand what you mean, too, because there are a lot of people... Okay, now we're going to be more aggressive to chat. There are a lot of people whose opinions on homelessness are shaped entirely by internet discourse. So they act really condescending to people who actually live in real cities, okay? So as somebody who's lived in LA and Seattle, I can talk about homelessness. If you live in New York City, you can talk about homelessness. But there are a lot of people who live in suburbs or who live in, like, you know... not necessarily well-to-do areas, but areas where they don't have like a big homeless population. And then they talk about homeless people as though they've only engaged with, you know, online discourse. She smiled right at me. See, that's the thing, okay? Because if you've never experienced a person smiling menacingly at you, then I think you're lying. It's like a common thing that can happen. Maybe not like day-to-day in life, right? Like I don't normally have Yakuza-style fighting encounters initiated at me, but I think that's like one of the known expressions, right? You like, you know, that's like a thing you could potentially do. Yeah, every time this topic comes up. Most homeless people are harmless, even the weirder ones. Yeah, but the problem is that, okay, for one, homelessness is bad because the people are homeless. Like, they're suffering out there, right? We be clear on that? The real problem from a safety perspective isn't the homeless people. It's that the bar for being civilized decreases the more homeless people there are, and not necessarily from the homeless people. It's like how crime is more common in areas that are more trash-ridden, because when you're walking down a street, and the street is really clean, you're like, yep, I'm in society. But if you walk down a street and it's fucking disgusting and there's trash everywhere and there's like the spray paint everywhere, you know, like it looks like really run down, now you're not in a society. Now crime is fine, you know? Happens like this all the time. It's like a weird, you'd think the crime causes the trash, but oftentimes, is that a real thing? Yes, that's a real thing. That's a demonstrable, you know, the cleaning up the neighborhood initiatives are a little more literal than they may seem. Like, it actually does make a big difference, and homeless people are a part of this. So, like, for instance, and this is LA talking here, okay? You go to Skid Row, lots of homeless people in Skid Row. You know who's not going to bother you if you walk down Skid Row at night? Probably the homeless people. Why? Because they're fucking chilling, dude. You know who will bother you? Vagrants, criminals of all kinds, drug runners, gang members, people who prey on the homeless of Skid Row, people who know they can walk freely there because they can blend into a crowd easier. They know, like, if you're gonna commit crimes, for example, in Los Angeles, where's an easier place to do it, you know? Skid Row or like East Hollywood, or fucking like nighttime Rodeo Drive. Where the fuck are you going after you do a crime in Rodeo Drive? Good luck with that one. I mean, people do break-ins there, but like for the most part, risky prospect, you know? No, I agree, funny rhetorician. It's just what people experience and interact with. Yeah, some places have cameras everywhere, lol. Not Skid Row. Can you explain what a vagrant is? Okay, I might be misusing the term vagrant, but I'm imagining Skid Row, okay? I'm rotating Skid Row in my mind right now. And the homeless of Skid Row have the tents on the side, and at night, they are all sleeping or like huddled in their corner because their lives are terrifying and miserable, okay? And the vagrants are the ones wandering in small groups who, when you walk near or through Skid Row, will say, hey buddy, nice night, huh? And then they'll like follow you and mug you or kill you. And I don't know if those people are necessarily like living there. I don't know if they have homes. I don't know what the deal is, but they're acting like a different group, okay? They're basically like fucking highwaymen, okay? It's not great. You mean gangs? Well, no, they're often not part of organized gangs, right? A lot of them are, yeah, they're just like massive drug addicts, right? They're massive drug addicts who they might even have a place to crash at, but like they don't have a fucking job, you know? So they you know, they rob people, or oftentimes, you know who they rob? They rob the homeless people. They have like protection rackets where it's like the homeless people beg for their money, and then half of that gets taken by the more aggressive, you know, drug addicts. Oftentimes the homeless are also drug addicted, but, you know, cycle of violence, right? Which is not, you know, which is not great. And of course the police allow this to happen, you know, to a large extent, with their selective enforcement and their like corralling of the homeless into small districts in downtown LA and so on. You understand. Sorry, I got distracted again. There's ball lights on First Avenue by the market. Nah, not that area. Nice shirt, thanks. Yeah, a lot of homeless people live in cars now. Plenty of that too. What's the solution to homelessness? Housing First initiatives. We know for a fact it works. No experimentation to it. It's an objectively good program that nobody wants to do because we hate homeless people. I'm still pretty sure you're talking about Pioneer Square, I'm going to be honest. Why would you... I know where Pioneer Square is, okay? 3rd Avenue, past the parking lot, 1 block fucking east of that theater where I saw fucking Stavros a little bit ago, and then north up 3rd, okay? I know where the fuck I was. Just because you don't know the town doesn't mean I don't know the town. I go on walks, all right? You play Final Fantasy 14.
7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. So, you know, I was excited for the election, you know. Louisville's like a little dot of blue and like a sea of red, so, you know, important to vote there. But I like changed my registration because I was excited about this race.
Who are you excited about?
Zohran Mamdani, of course.
Yay!
And why are you voting for Zohran?
I think, well, one, I live in a rent-stabilized building. I would love for him to freeze the rent if that's going to happen. And I like that he's straightforward about his stance on like how unaffordable this city has become. I also just think it's exciting to have like momentum in a race. Like this is the first candidate that I think I've been excited about, that anyone's been excited about. So that's really inspiring too. And the city-run groceries idea, universal childcare, are all like, yeah, things I support wholeheartedly.
How have you mostly heard about Zoran? You think like through friends or social media? Or
I think I first kind of got on the train.
Hasn't broken windows theory been proven wrong? No, I think broken windows policing, because broken windows theory, I think, is like unobjectionably correct. The problem is that it was used to justify a bunch of horrendous policing policies like stop and frisk, you know? I think the holy text, I think the underlying theory is totally correct, but what they derived from it is not, you know? I believe. That fucking sucks, Tarek.
With social media, I think he's been great at kind of like getting the sort of like Gen Z, maybe millennial folks to like be excited through like TikTok and Instagram. So that's how I first heard about him. And then I started canvassing with people and got to know them just through conversations we had in person. And then it got me more and more engaged, so.
In your canvassing, what neighborhoods did you guys visit, and what was kind of the general like reaction from people?
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, because it was different. Like whenever I would be in Flatbush, I think we got a lot of support and a lot of people who really liked the sort of Democrats.
Okay, wait, hold on. We were talking about this earlier, but they actually have some nice stuff being cited in the Wikipedia article for it. Wiki research, broken windows theory. The idea that visible signs of crime, antisocial behavior, and civil disorder create an urban environment that encourages further crime and disorder. Social psychologists and police officers tend to agree that I don't give a fuck what police officers think, that if a window in a building is broken and left unrepaired, all the rest of the windows will soon be broken. This is as true in nice neighborhoods as in rundown ones. Window breaking does not necessarily occur on a large scale because some areas are inhabited by determined window breakers, whereas others are populated by window lovers. Rather, one unrepaired broken window is a signal that no one cares, and so breaking more windows costs nothing. It has always been fun. True. I saw the bit from the Netherlands. In 2007 and 2008, Kees Keizer and colleagues from the University of Groningen conducted a series of controlled experiments to determine if the effect of existing visible disorders, such as litter or graffiti, increased other crime, such as theft, littering, or other antisocial behavior. They selected several urban locations which they arranged in two different ways at different times. In each experiment, there was a disordered condition in which violations of social norms as prescribed by signage or national custom, such as graffiti and littering, were clearly visible, as well as a control location where no violations of such norms had taken place. The researchers then secretly monitored the locations to observe if people behaved differently when the environment was, quote, disordered. Their observations supported the theory. The conclusion was published in the journal Science. One example of disorder, like graffiti or littering, can indeed encourage another, like stealing. Graffiti is art. Okay, white people in chat, we're doing this once more. Some graffiti is art. But if you've lived in a city with a lot of graffiti, you can tell the difference between stuff that beautifies the neighborhood and tagging. Okay, now there are some beautiful, listen, okay, I enjoyed Enter the Spider-Verse as much as the rest guy, but not all graffiti artists are Miles Morales, okay? They're not all choosing a tiny little rundown, empty, abandoned subway station and then painting a beautiful fucking masterwork on there, okay? There's a lot of people who are just like, woo, 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 just hitting every fucking piece of shit. Tagging is art too, it's just shitty art. Okay, it's shitty art. What about tagging shit with fuck ice? Well, I agree with the sentiment, but it's still fucking ugly. I mean, I agree with the sentiment, so you have my support, I guess, but like it's not like pretty. It's not like art, like beautiful. It's like when people trash bathroom stalls. People are probably more likely to piss on the floor in a bathroom that has graffiti everywhere than on the floor of a bathroom that's pristine, I feel. Housing first works? Of course it does. It objectively works. 100%. In 2005, Harvard and Suffolk University researchers worked with local police to identify 34 crime hotspots in Lowell, Massachusetts. In half the spots, authorities cleared trash, fixed streetlights, enforced building codes, discouraged loiterers, made more misdemeanor arrests, and expanded mental health services and aid for the homeless. In the other half, there was no change to routine police service. The areas that received additional attention experienced a 20% reduction in calls to police. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad they added this. The study concluded that cleaning up the physical environment was more effective than misdemeanor arrests. Nice. Okay. I was about to take contention with all of these being rolled into one. I appreciate them clarifying that in the article, genuinely. I probably wasn't going to go look at the article specifically. I would have just said, well, I would like to know whether it was the cleaning or the misdemeanor arrest that made a difference, you know? That's nice. Okay. I'm happy they clarified. After being elected mayor of New York City in 1993, Rudy Giuliani hired Bratton as his police commissioner to implement similar policies and practices throughout the city. Heavily emphasized addressing crimes that negatively affected quality of life, directed the police to more strictly enforce laws against subway fare evasion, public drinking, public urination, and graffiti. Bratton also revived the New York City cabaret law, a previously dormant prohibition ban on dancing in unlicensed establishments. Okay. Throughout the late 1990s, the NYPD shut down many of the city's acclaimed night spots for illegal dancing. Okay? According to a 2001 study of crime trends in NYC, rates of both petty and serious crime fell significantly after the aforementioned policies were implemented. Furthermore, crime continued to decline for the following 10 years. See, this isn't a study. This is just what Giuliani did, you know? I would be interested in knowing... However, other studies do not find a cause and effect relationship between the adoption of such policies and decreases in crime. I love my woke Wikipedia. I love my woke Wikipedia. A 2017 study found when the NYPD stopped aggressively enforcing minor legal statuses in late 2014 and early 2015, that civilian complaints of 3 major crimes, burglary, felony assault, and grand larceny, decreased during and shortly after sharp reductions in proactive policing. Nice. All right, well, interesting stuff. I do feel like the left has ceded a bit too much ground on stuff like this, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a left vision of the future has to be one that is clean and orderly. And pro-social, because sometimes I feel like in order to be based, the left preemptively adopts like anti-sociality as something worthy of being defended. Like, rather than say homelessness is an abomination that should be treated with proper social policy, the fact that people are homeless in the United States is insane, you know. They do say that, but then they'll also be like, well, homeless people aren't dangerous at all, which for one isn't quite true, and for two isn't the point, because the point is like public displays of urban decay, right? It's a little dehumanizing to talk about it that way, but it's part of like a broader set of symptoms. How many lefties do you know that talk about like, we need to clean the cities up and we need to discourage tagging, right? I bet you not many, because oftentimes, right, like this is seen as like the conservative crackdown, you know, broken windows policing type stuff. But I feel like, I don't know, because stuff like this then leads to, well, what's the point in building a pretty park if everyone's just going to shit everywhere? You know, like why build a pretty park if we don't care about keeping it clean? Then no one's going to use it, you know? Like when Twitter lefties defended smoking crack in the subway. I will never forget that email that I got. Yeah. I bristle at orderly, but yeah. Yeah, I know, exactly, because orderly has been co-opted. Orderly is basically a dog whistle at this point, but orderly is also good in a city environment. Like, it's the regimentation of the urban environment that allows it to exist to begin with. You want some degree of orderliness, not like, you know, lights out at 7 p.m., no noise after 8 orderliness. I mean, like, you know, keeping the streets clean. I don't know. Order like Japan. Japan is a very conservative country, but I think there are ideals that we celebrate in Japan that would probably be nice. Because, like, community mindedness is a very important thing if you want your city to feel like a city. But New York City does this, right? Like, there are parts of New York City that feel like they have a very strong community vibe, and New York City is also very individualistic, you know? I don't know. Singapore is very orderly. True, but Singapore is also authoritarian, right? So while I think that they've managed to accomplish a lot, you know, in a civic sense, I think they've done so at the cost of something important. The Netherlands are very clean and orderly, and also I would say, like, there's a decent amount of freedom there, right? You can be a little disorderly in the Netherlands without the cops coming down on you and like beating you to death or whatever. And I think they do it because the government takes their role in keeping things clean very seriously, and I think that also people are kind of like proud to keep their community clean. Yeah, system dynamics should be used for good and not evil. Hot take. Hot take, but I do believe it. It is true that Japan is not as clean as people often think. But contrasted with America, where even the touristy places are filthy, it is still a step above. Is there an example of a non-conservative country with a strong cleanliness policy? The Netherlands. Fuck, even I've showed them so many times, but like, when I was at Barcelona, which was not a super clean city, by the way, they had those tiny little cleaning cars all over the place that would drive on, they would drive on sidewalks, they would drive on promenades, they would drive down the road, and they had like 2 guys with them, and they were just power spraying everything all the time, you know? It's pretty cool. We don't have this in America. In America, we just, like, once a week, maybe, you have a mega truck that comes by and sprays the roads. But they don't get the sidewalks at all. You know how infrequently sidewalks are cleaned in America? It just doesn't happen, I think, actually, come to think of it. Like, at all? It just doesn't happen. There's no sidewalk cleaning in most of America. Never? No, I literally mean never. Like, the rain? Okay, yeah, the rain. But I mean like real cleaning, like being power blasted. But there are many sidewalks that just don't get any cleaning. New York City does it? Yeah, well, New York City is special. I mean that. Yeah, American street sweepers look like this. And they only go on roads. Beep beep. Like, guys don't like come out of them and clean the area or whatever. They just kind of like drive by and keep the roads clear. I drive it? Oh, sure. Usually they're bigger than that too. Yeah, I've seen much larger ones. This one's quite small. I mean, there's a million different companies that make them, I bet, so. Also, U.S. cities lack public restrooms. Yeah, that's also true. You basically have to shit your pants in America. There's no other way. Ugh. All right. I didn't mean to stream late tonight. I didn't mean to stream late at all, or today at all, because I've been trying to like deal with this fucking perpetual headache. But we covered the bombing of Iran. There'll be plenty to cover tomorrow as well. Suppose I'll read donos. Tips. I still wish I had that wallet. The indigo white one. That'd be nice. Oh, link it again, Miss Genderlin. But what if you lost it? Yeah, that would suck. That would suck. I do believe that. Why is every hot man I see on my social media feed from Brazil now? It's always been that way. You just didn't notice before. Space Burn and Conciliator, thank you for the tier 1 subs. Really appreciate that. Congrats on your bonus at work. Bieberhole69, thank you for the $20. Much appreciated. Tamora and World Observer, thank you for the $5 both. Wasn't sure if the asbestos ban was a right-wing thing or an abundance liberal idea. Ha! They would. Is the Iranian nuclear project a real concern? I'm not concerned about the Iranian nuclear project because I'm a supporter of global jihad, all right? Maybe you should be concerned about it. We don't know how far along they were. They were probably decently close, but again, I trust them with a nuke more than Israel. Brooke Solis and Vile Nihilist, thank you for the tier 1 subs both. Really appreciate those. Zeonth, thank you for the $5. You'll be in Korea where it's safe for now. Yeah, Korea's not near any belligerent nuclear-armed neighbors. You'll be fine. Ike Skeward and Pod Not, thank you for the tier 2 subs both. Very, very kind of you. Noella Well, thank you for the $5. I wouldn't be worried about any Iranian sleeper cells. My husband has this mini wallet. It's beautiful engraved leather. Wow, that looks great. That looks really good. Without knowing anything more about the construction, that looks really good. Love a nice full grain leather wallet. Like full grain leather in general, you know? I'm wearing a belt right now, mostly because I wanted to try tucking this shirt in. It's not really a cohesive outfit, but the I love the leather on this belt. It's really, really thick. Like, I don't know if you can... I suppose it shows. It's just a standard 1.5-inch leather belt, but the actual like quality of the leather, it feels so nice that it like glides in. What does full grain mean? It means it's the whole skin of the cow or whatever else, you know? Like suede is when you split the leather, the sheet of leather, and you're just using the more fibrous, less sturdy lower half. Full grain is the whole thing from the top of the skin all the way down to the base of the skin. Whole organ, you know? FYI chat, genuine leather is lowest grade. Yeah, you always want full grain, unless you're going for suede or rough out leather, but that's mutually exclusive with full grain. You want full grain if you're going for leather. What is suede? Well, like I just said, suede is when you split the leather. Here, I'll just find a diagram. There. So you have the denser, shinier, more durable grain up at the top, and then the further down you go on the cut of leather, you have more fibrous leather. That's where you get your suede from. So full grain is the whole thing, top to bottom, and then suede. The reason suede has that like furry texture to it is because you're feeling all the fibers in the middle. Yeah, it's like shaving the top off the leather, basically. I love suede. Suede's nice, but difficult to clean. You know, you get water stains on it, which aren't really stains. Oh, good lord. What about genuine leather? Genuine leather is just a marketing term for lower quality leather that's been given a shine. Suede's a bitch to clean. Yeah, you gotta have the right stuff for it. Sofigo with the tier 2 sub. Jesus, they're going to make being to the left of Gavin Newsom treason, aren't they? And again, Democrats are probably largely split on the whole bombing Iran thing. So we'll see if Gavin Newsom's the line they draw there. Digit 101. Happy birthday tomorrow. Thank you very, very much. Happy to hear you've been enjoying lurking. Sensuous Psychosis, the $5. The OG democracy Athens invented the dictator, which was originally a temporary title to restore order unbound by the law when the process was fucked. You're right. All democracies just need like a 5-year silly period, basically. Kowalski, thank you for the $5. A rural revival is inevitable. It'll be achieved through policy or by solar flare EMP. Please build cafes, sewing equipment, and a doctor. We have food. Dude, if we could unironically like build out villages in rural America, I would so support that. I would like give them something, you know? We got to give them something. Bing chilling with the $10. Oh, was this the thing you guys were freaking out about bait posting earlier? I grew up in Atlanta. I'm fine with black people, but the culture, language, and mannerisms piss me the hell off. How do I just be chill and suppress my judgment? Was that the thing you guys earlier were like, oh my god, is that dono serious? Because I remember you guys all did that at one point, but I didn't see the dono. Yes? Oh my god, is that dono serious? So there's actually a solution to this, okay? You need to stop thinking about the way you behave as the default. You know? Look, I'm a white boy. There are lots of things that other cultures and communities do that don't feel natural to me, but you have to understand that from the cultural subjectivist post, they see you the same way, but I bet you they're more tolerant. You know? If they were as intolerant of your behaviors as you were of them, I mean, the whole like social contract kind of relies on the assumption that there will be differences between people, and within reasonable limits we have to accept that, because that's literally just how people are. Not even race differences, just individual, person to person. And when you talk about mannerisms or language or whatever, look, I can understand being off-put by cultural tendencies that, you know, you had bad experiences with growing up, like growing up with, for example. But you have to understand, like, it's an intellectual process to take a discomfort that's kind of rooted in your brain and to consider it and reflect on it and go, okay, maybe because of this or that, I find these things irritating, but can I like objectively defend that value judgment? And to me, this is an IQ test, because the low IQ thing to do is to dislike something and then go, no, because I dislike it, it must be bad. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's anything innately bad with not liking a lot of the mannerisms and cultural behaviors that we typically associate with black people. Everyone has preferences. What is bad is to take those preferences and go, well, that must be because they're bad, you know? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it would be ideal if everyone could be, you know, like everyone has like an equal tolerance for all these behaviors, but that's not realistic, right? I bet you if I went and traveled to India, for example, there would be a ton of things people do there that would just piss me off. They'd be too in my face. Some people would be too loud. There'd just be a lot of mannerisms I don't have the right context for, or I wouldn't get it, you know? But then I walk through the blighted wasteland that is white suburbia, and I think, did we go too far? Did we lose something vital? Imagine how it must feel to an immigrant family coming to the United States. They have some money, so they live like in a very nice neighborhood or whatever, or not even a very nice, but like an okay neighborhood. Can you imagine how it must feel for them to be perceived as the loud immigrant family when from their perspective they are being exactly the same they always have been? Maybe they're even toning it down a bit. It's 7 p.m. outside and a beautiful day. What the fuck do you mean they're being too loud? You're being too quiet. What are you doing inside? Like, seriously. Oh, the loud immigrant family, they have their family over and they're out. Why the fuck don't you have your family over? Why the fuck aren't you outside? You're indoors on a beautiful day. You have fucking manic depression and you're not taking the sun rays in as you can. Why are they the oddity? Well, because you're used to how you behave and not used to how they behave. But to me, the high IQ take here is not to be equally tolerant of everything. Because I'll be honest to you, I've lived next to noisy people, loud people, and sometimes it does piss me off a bit because I'm in my quiet zone. Up here, I'm doing whatever I'm doing inside. But I don't rationalize it. I don't then go, well, they're the ones being bad, you know? I just think, well, maybe they would prefer it if their neighbors went outdoors more often. Maybe they don't like the fact that they live in a neighborhood where they only see their neighbor when he goes outside to take out the trash. And then they say, hello, and I go, hi, and then I go inside. Maybe it bothers them that they're in like a social wasteland, you know? Maybe I should stop assuming that I'm the only person here who might bristle at the difference between my behavior and their behavior. And if you can do that, to me, I think that's like the most you can hope for. Kowalski, I am going to edit your maximum character limit per message for you specifically. I'm going to ask White Nervosa to add that feature. I'm going to have an extra button that I can press that caps at like 140 characters. Honestly, not a bad idea. Like genuinely. It's like a kind of temp ban. Throttle their line. Sorry, it was just on my mind. No, don't apologize. Don't capitulate. I do want the rural village. You all get what I'm talking about, right? With the comfort? Because I think, like, the unnatural thing to do if you're in a very vibrant community is to pretend you've never felt uncomfortable by mannerisms common to a different culture, race, nationality, or religion. Yes, you have. Don't fucking lie, okay? But you can grow from that. That's a position you can be in, and then you can think about it. And then, you know what? Over time, I've come to appreciate it when my neighbors are loud. When I was 18 to 25, that shit really bugged me. Now I kind of, you know, look out the window and smile that I live in a vibrant community. You know, you can work through that. Discomfort isn't like a moral condemnation on your part or like of you. It's not morally damning. It's just something that you have to engage with. All right, well, anyway, I'm going to keep reading tips. Test subject number 2. Thank you for the insanely kind $50 tip. Really, really appreciate that. Jesus. With the chaos and uncertainty of today, I've decided to look to the future. I will build a sailboat. I think her name will be Rosa. I'll keep you updated. Fuck it, sure. Why not? Best time to get into some weird niche shit, huh? Yeah, I'm not defending that, nuts. Thank you very much for the kind dono. Sake Tanuki with the 5 tier 1 subs. What's the name of the hat company in Japan? We need a Vosh clothing recommendation stock. Yeah, I actually really like this hat. I've got a very big noggin, okay? Here, take a look at this. Here's a double RL dad cap. Baseball cap, love it. Denim. Is it denim? Yep, it's denim. Indigo dyed, and it's got a leather, it's got a little belt buckle for a back. The reason I got this is because this gives a little more room than a regular adjustable snapback. A regular adjustable snapback does not fit my head. But I put this on. Does it fit? Yeah, it fits. But I'm not going to lie. You take a look at how much this is being kind of spread out a little bit. It fits close, you know? It's not a perfect fit. But this is fitted. See? No snap. And it fits perfectly. Fits perfectly. It's got the leather, cowhide interior from Poten. And look, I wrote my name on it. Whose hat is that? There's an answer to you inside. It's a nice hat. Show us the glorious green. Can't really see it that well. Kaiser Demon, or Draymond, Kaiser Draymond, thank you for the $6. Do you think we'll have a burning of the Reichstag moment from Trump? Honestly, probably not, because it seems like this administration is not interested in manufacturing consent very well. Like, Jesus, you see how badly they handled this Iran bombing thing? Like, years and years and years of we're not getting involved in the Middle East, and then one Camp David visit and a phone call from Netanyahu, and Trump's like, I guess actually we're going to do this then. Very important that we do this. God bless Israel forever. And maybe the United States too. Like, you know, I feel like they're not that interested in bringing people along on the journey, you know? Sublime Object, thank you for the $10. Orderly has gone the way of freedom, where euphemistic language has become the language in discourse. I agree, yeah. And it sucks. It sucks because so many good things get ceded to the right. It's so frustrating. Nyako, thank you for the $5. After the Kabul attack, there was a huge effort to save dogs and cats. My giant silver tabby Samuel was one of them. Really? Aww. Saved. Wah. Rescued from radical Islam. I hate that patriotism is a right-wing thing. It's just like, it's so easy to just rebrand patriotism as a love of the people here and a desire to make the country better. But there are so many Twitter lefties who will like die on the hill over and over and over again. The hill of like, no, trust me. When I say, listen, here's my strategy to appeal to the average American voter. Death to America. And then when somebody's like, I don't think they're going to like that. I think that's going to like lead to some confusion. Their answer is like, well, who said I'm appealing to the average American, huh? Okay, well then what are you doing? Stop fucking Jesus Christ. I've literally seen that exact convo play out so many times. Like, come on, don't pretend you're trying to... What's the point of broad group messaging if you're not going to try to appeal to the people who are capable of making any difference? Are you trying to build a movement of like Filipinos? Are you trying to reach out to Brasilia? Who are you reaching with this? You want to change anything or just whine about it? Oh. Elgaria, thank you for the $100. Jesus. Thank you. That's very kind of you. My goodness. Sorry, I'm still trying to corral the bend a little bit. I like kind of a sharp bend. One of my freshwater squat lobsters, genus Agla, died last night after failing to molt. Oh, that sucks. Fortunately, my pregnant female is still alive thanks to the content. Shit. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm glad they didn't both suddenly die after failing to molt. Dude, molting's gotta fucking suck. I know we have hair, so it's not really on the table for us anyway, but can you imagine? That's gotta suck so much. So glad we don't have to deal with that shit. Dude, honestly, there are a lot of animals out there that are like by default grosser than us. Animals that like spit food into the mouths of their kids, or like koalas poop in their kids' mouths. There's like slimy animals, lots of mucus, you know, lots of weird fucking, there's animals that clean themselves by licking their butts. But like, we really lucked out. I feel like humans are genuinely like pretty clean, like even before modern civilization, right? Like even back like 10,000 years ago, we weren't licking our butts to clean ourselves or whatever. Like we're pretty, you know, I feel like we're pretty clean. That's nice. Wake me up when I don't have to douche for anal. Okay, yeah, you're trying to get fucked. That's different. Every animal in the universe has that issue, would have that issue if they were made like the fucking leaders of the planet. Okay, shut up. Thank you, Elgaria. Not alpaca, thank you for the $5. Dude, if you're a Trevor Project LGBT suicide hotline worker and a trans kid in a red state calls you, what the fuck do you even say? Live out of spite, not really many options. Dude, I know it fucking sucks, but we need to like re-engage with the narrative, which is true, that you can live a good portion of your life. By good portion, what I mean is like a few years, not good as in morally good or whatever. Closeted and biding your time. I think that used to be really common, and we still have that sentiment all around the world, but in America, because we've had like a window of queer acceptance, the narrative has very much been like, get the fuck out of the closet immediately, which I think is overwhelmingly the correct thing to say, right? But it's very obvious that in some environments, yeah, you have to be pragmatic, and I want people to believe, like, there are still lots of things you can do in your day-to-day, while being in the closet. It's not like your life freezes, you know? It's just compromised. But you can build up like the necessary, like make yourself more financially stable, or you can work to like secure close relationships in places that are more safe, or you can work to like shore things up with family members or whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't think you should encourage that as an alternative to coming out or whatever, like if it's possible to come out. I just think it's important to not be too doomer about it, you know? Senua Psychosis, thank you for the 5. If you care to, here's another Oklahoma small town. No. We're not, this ain't a Google Maps stream. No. Thank you, though. Hyrelois, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Sending y'all good vibes. So Mamdani wins. Take care, Vosh. God, I hope he wins. I'm going to lose my fucking mind if he doesn't win. I'm going to be so fucking mad. I am not... This is not like the national... This is not like Kamala Harris, okay? This is not a harm reduction vote, all right? This is a real fucking ass... I'm not even voting! It's a real spiritual vote. When's the election? 4 days, I think. Yeah. Sake, thanks the 5 tier 1 subs. I thought I was joking when I suggested Sarah McBride was going to do a podcast featuring Blair White. Oh no, there's no way. What is this? Trans is a mental disorder. Blair White drops truth bombs on gender identity. Her take. Wait. Panel, Blair White, Anna Kasparian. Wait, you said Sarah McBride. Did you mean Anna Kasparian? This is the Anna Kasparian show? That's crazy. Jesus Christ. Blair White drops truth bombs on gender identity. Good Lord. I gotta watch that Kyle Kalinske crystal ball talking the Jenk bit. They're all off their rockers. Give me money because I'm the only motherfucker in this professional scene that believes the shit he says. Well, crystal ball and Kyle Kalinske certainly do. Just sort of like contrasting myself against the TYT, you know, environment. Wonder what I can do to get this to sit more naturally on my neck. I want it to sit, you know, I want it to sit like this, but then it kind of moves up a little bit. I wonder, it's a very stiff fabric, but I like it a lot. Stand? Yeah, part of it is that. Yeah, part of it is just like if you're sitting, stiffer fabrics will kind of do what they do. All right, let me read these. Meme Lord 53, thank you for the 5. Still alive, thank you likewise. Farsquire 0, thank you for the very kind $10. That feel when a still serving OIF/OEF vet nearly 20 years in sees the same pro-war behavior they saw back in 2002. Genuinely, There is some, but it's not to the same extent. During, like, in the lead up to the Iraq War, there was months and months and months of the Bush administration lying and the media propagandizing. And with this one, it feels so lazy. I'm really leaning in on this, you know, history doesn't rhyme, it echoes, where we're just like copying older things worse. We're hitting all the same beats worse. You know, this one, yeah, it's so lazy. Everything's so fucking lazy. Yeah, it was like 1 week of buildup, dude. Janelle Lorman, thank you for the $20. Welcome to $8, y'all. I don't know. You gave me $20, not $8. But I appreciate it either way, even with the mistype. Don't touch me, I'm crazy. Thanks the $2. 9/11 wasn't Muslims. I mean, Osama bin Laden, I don't know. Feel like he can take that one. Feel like he's earned it. He's earned the cred. Martian Mars, thank you for the $2. Doom Guy and P-Town Spaz, thank you for the 5 both. Really appreciate that. Monado Lifesaver, thank you for the $20. I wholly believe we're trying to replicate the Ukraine drone tactics. I believe Israel's being given access to sabotage these drones and bring on our Reichstag burning via terror nationwide. Iran will be blamed. I'm not really sure what you mean. You mean like Israel will sabotage our defense system to allow an attack to go through that will blame in Iran? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, I'm afraid. Heather, thank you for the $20. Clearly, Trump did this to distract me from my mother-in-law having a serious medical emergency on the other side of the world this morning. That's likely, yeah. It's possible. We know he's a vindictive guy. Seriously, prayers needed. We get hourly updates since she's still not out of the woods. I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope your mother-in-law is doing better now. It's been like 2 hours since you sent the dono. There are weights people use to keep their shirts from blowing up in the wind. No. That's different. This would be more of a fit issue. Here, hold on. See, now it's sitting properly. Okay, like this. But then you lounge a bit, and it shuffles up a little bit, and then it's like this. You know, I think just wearing it in, breaking it in. You know, breaking it in will do it. Akuma Tenchi, thank you for the $20. Ready to get drafted. I'm going to stay 250 in fat, so I'm on cleaning duties. Good. Unless you're very tall, you should be safe. Cool Hand Luke, thank you for the 2. Still alive and old schoolist. Thank you for the $5 both. I have a friend with family in Iran. They're very scared right now. I really hope they stay okay. You know, I'm sure there are lots of Iranian communities that are not likely to be attacked in the coming months or years. Iran's a very large country, but yeah, I imagine that like Tehran is going to be, yeah, not treated well. Well, 88, thank you for the very kind 25 Canadian. Iran can mine the Strait of Hormuz. Am I thinking of the right thing? Mine it? Politically, you mean? You mean close it? They might. We'll see. With water mines? Oh, mine. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Mine, yeah, like water mines. Understood. Yeah. I mean, they could potentially. Does Iran have the capabilities to bomb the U.S.? No. They can, however, make oil very expensive. So fill up your cars now. Ghost of Avalon, thank you for the $10. I'm just going to assume the reason conservatives were mad at Biden last year was because they were afraid he'd start a war with Iran before they got the chance to. I mean, the Republican base is not happy with this one, seemingly, but, like, yeah, obviously, most of the Republicans in Congress are still the same neocons that they were 10 years ago. They've just bought in on the MAGA thing for, like, electoral viability. Adamski with the €2. Why are we defending Iran? It's a fascist theocracy. It's a theocracy. I don't think that means that it's good for us to bomb them for no reason. You know, I think that Iran is unambiguously defending itself here. You know, John, thank you for the $10. Sorry for Doomer posting earlier. I really enjoyed your coverage of Israel and the MIC dynamic. Godspeed, comrade. No worries. You never have to apologize, usually because I don't remember when people have done something that have annoyed me until they remind me by apologizing for it. So, you know, usually it's on the up and up. Galactic Moth and Ding Ding Dong, thank you for the 5 both. Really appreciate that. Kumatenchi, thank you for the $10. Vosh, we didn't draft for Iraq. Difference is it wasn't nearly as close to a world war as the mix of current conflict now. I really, 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 really don't think we're close to a world war on this one, okay? Like, the only thing that could happen that could escalate this to the point of it being a world war would be a boots on the ground invasion of Iran contested by a boots on the ground defense provided by China or Russia, which is not going to happen. Like that insane pair of decisions might escalate this significantly, but I don't think this in its current form can really manifest as a, you know, world war. Bayphoto, thank you for the 5. Mamdani really is unique. Yeah, he's a generational talent. Absolutely incredible. It's crazy, really, like how well he handles everything. John, thank you for the 5. How did Mamdani go from young and cool coded to preacher coded, sitting Bible verses and shit? He knew his audience. The Midnight Garnet, thank you for the 5. Waiting for Vosh's music arc to start. You guys want to know something funny? I don't know if I told this story, but remember how earlier I was talking about I went to a nice music venue with my beautiful partner and then we walked back downtown? The one where I said there were like weird fucking vagrants. We did make a stop at a late night vintage market while we were there, and I was trying on some stuff. I found a nice Wu-Tang Clan vintage t-shirt that I saw going for $200 on eBay. It was like $20 in the store. Had some nice paint scuffs on it. I might crop it. Anyway, but on the way out, you know, my partner was like, I think those guys at the desk recognized you. And I was like, how? In what way? And my partner said, well, when I walked past, the one was saying to the other, you know, you don't watch YouTube? You don't use YouTube at all? And it seemed like it was being done in a hushed tone. So I thought maybe it was emergent from a conversation where the one guy recognized you, but the other person didn't. And then later, like much later, when we made it to my partner's place, I upturn the plastic bag and look at the shirt that I got, in addition to what my partner got, and I see something else in there, and it turns out they had snuck into the bag a shirt with a horse on it. Some old graphic tee for, I don't know if it was Mariners or whatever, but they snuck it in there. And when I upturned it on the bed, there's no way. I mean, I have it. So that was pretty funny. I'm not gonna wear it because it's a V-neck and I'm not that kind of guy, but I'll show it. Fine, fucking. There you go. Seahawks. Oh, Bronco Busters, because they were up against another team, I assume. Pretty funny though, right? Hardly a horse shirt. Well, they probably only had so many, like, horse-related shirts, you know? He found what he could. Hang on the wall or something? Yeah, it's a little too small for me, so I could make, like, a little piece out of it. It's pretty cute. Anti-horse propaganda. I'm a Niners fan, Vosh. Please never wear that. Okay, okay. All right. That's cute. Disco Elysium item. Iran is a fascist state, so you have to stand with the liberal democracy that opposes it. Nice bait. Vosh could expand his audience by talking more sports, or I could dilute the audience that I already have, you know. A lot of people who watch me probably don't care much about sports, but it has to be sincere. I care about the fashion stuff, so I talk about the fashion stuff. You know, it has to come from a sincere place, okay? Your heart has to be as a lotus flower. You're gonna react to Kalinsky and Cenk debate or not today? Why would I? I'm literally like reading those, right? Why would I? Well, it's like a long 2-hour. That's like a 4-hour video go over, which I'd be delighted to do, mind you. But like right now, you kidding me? I only hopped on stream because we fucking went to war with Iran. Jesus. It's like half an hour. Oh, okay. I don't know if it was like 2 hours. All right. Can give it an hour next stream. A lot of vintage sports gear is really nice. Sports uniforms used to have nice collars and casual fits. Yeah, they used to be made out of fucking cotton, not polyester and a fucking tech fabric slop. Dude, nobody wears sweatsuits anymore. Everyone wears like slim fit polyester polos or whatever. Ugh. Old collared sports jerseys suck so bad. You mean like rugby shirts? I think rugby shirts look great. But you have to know what you're doing. They can look good. Yeah, there's a lot of nice ones like vintage from Polo Ralph Lauren. Also the origin of the button-down collar, if I'm not mistaken. Adrian, thank you for the, or Adrian possibly. Thank you for the $20. You see Crystal and Kyle obliterating Cenk? No, I've heard rumors of it though. Also, some people in chat are very insistent that I take a look. I probably will. It'd be silly not to. I want to. Galactic Moth, thank you for the 2. No talking about how Russia or China will react. They're probably not going to do anything. Not Alpaca, thank you for the $5. Yeah, this is the reason why I said that, like, the problem with AI is not that it produces a bunch of low-quality slop. The problem is that if you average it out and you distribute it in impersonal ways, like through social media, you will find that a lot of people will like that AI slop just fine. It will appeal to people just fine because a lot of what people consume is interchangeable, and it always will be, and that's not even like a slop thing necessarily. It's just that, like, as the systems get better, as the technology gets better, it will begin to more and more closely replicate things that people actually want to consume on their own, which is very dangerous. You know, the problem is not the quality of the media. The problem is the death of communication. Very dangerous stuff. At any rate, we'll talk about it more tomorrow, or possibly the day after tomorrow. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You know, I've been enjoying my little sabbatical quite a bit, trying to keep my head from hurting. You know, baby shit like that. Good night. Good night to y'all. Okay, have a wonderful sleep, and thank you for tuning in. All of a sudden. Fell for it with the schedule. They always do. They always do. All right, take care. I promise not to run any more bombing runs on Iran.